whack MC when he bustin', but I just back away real cool, no fussin'. I'd rather go kicking in the streets with the bums and use the knowledge to collect what? Some funds, open a non-profit and build a damn school. And this is the story of how a great king rules. There's many that claim to know the local demographic, but don't have the nerve to tell you the truth. It's tragic, but I do, so sit back and let me spit this shit to you. You feel better when I spit this shit to you. Despite the system trying to clamp down on the people will learn how to stand up to evil. Not evil that's across the globe, that's too far, but evil lies in their own backyard. And fighting, it's not an option, they can't win. The government, it's not supposed to represent sin, but then again they do, and that's a problem. So let's go down and figure out how to solve them. It's not fun being a rapper that can't speak, but we do, yes, and plus we make fat beats. Yo, we smoke weed, break up trees. So listen, bringing fat beats, that is our mission. You wanted to see us, homeboy, shut up and listen. Thelonious and Big Benny, brother, check the vision. Mentalities of different realities. Enter the Star Trek room when you hear the boom. I be the Walkman with the super bass. Automatic stop, yes, stereo cassette player. With the delayer, freaky lyrical sprayer. Extraterrestrial rhyme sayer. I be the poetical VIC/master of the ceremony. Tendaboni, won't you come step with me? I'm on a historical journey, kinda like Sigourney. Implore me to represent the attorney that represents my niggas, go figure. Here's the card, they call me Uncle Vigor. Niggas love your blunts, down your liquors. I be the parallel to the fiction. You're fixated on this brother's nature. Relaxed behavior, I might save your change. Flip it, rearrange. The whole concept, yo, is good for all your brain. Insane, psychotic, neurotic, black onyx, and hooked on phonics. Yes, atomic, it bleeds like a bonnet. Cut with the Asiatic, they all up on it. Rhyme static with the robotic type of skill. You wonder, is this nigga Vic really for real? It's still, but only necessary in the berry. I'm milk like dairy, they quite contrary. That's scary, but I'm a dog in the prairie. I scurry to grab my bones and just bury. Lyrical flurry, go get your secretary with impeccable dictions. My style might vary, so get a hold of your own shit real fast. Fucking with us, we take it right out your ass. Every dog chill while the other dogs howl. Too many dogs get sent to the pound. Back on the hill, me and my peeps just lounge. Prairie dogs, we keep it on the down. Splatter, don't like gun splatter. We try to climb a ladder, wicked men get better. They make it like splatter, but it really don't matter. Cause you know we coming back to our sons and our daughters. So father, you know I do protect ya. And the mother, she will never neglect ya. Through divine nature, the people respect ya. And in this way I deliver my lecture.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued when the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the brink. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors. I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers. Cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets this cause the TVs whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't dare. And they cloud up and get crazy and won't stare. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison.
They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
It's 08:59 Central European time. Yeah, and it is, that would make it what, something like 2:55 Eastern Standard Time USA, and that will make it 12:55 Pacific time, I believe, right? Or Arizona time. Yeah. I hope everybody's doing well. Oh yeah, let me take this down. Hope everybody had as well as you can be. I know that sounds really crazy to say. I hope everybody's doing well, but in light of the times that we are in light of the times, and the damn times ain't that good, yo. The times are horrible. I mean, while for the billionaires, they dancing around. It's 11:57. Okay. In Las Vegas, what is that? Hold on. Can't see the Las Vegas. Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's Pacific time, right? Or is it 3 hours Pacific time? Is it 10:57 in LA or what? Or is it the same time? Yeah, but given the times that we in, I mean, the billionaires in the USA, the ones without any soul, are having the best times of their life. Of course, they like to complain about poor people, which is typical of arrogant, out of check people that have it better than everyone else, but seem to think that, or seem to not really notice how well anybody else is doing, and not notice a whole lot of other stuff, like, for example, you could get shot in the head, shot at and shot in the head, and they could not see that. They could see everything else. They could see when you're talking about Renee Good, what they saw was a truck run over the officer and flatten him out on the road, and only to save his life he shot 3 times. That's how this story started in the beginning, and of course that's gaslighting because it's on video. Everyone saw it. No one saw a police officer hit the ground. Nobody saw that. It's not on any videotape. If you believe that happened, you'd have to be guessing. Nobody saw a phone hit the ground. I didn't see a phone hit the ground. If you saw the phone hit the ground, you must have been guessing, because I didn't see that. I didn't see any phone come out of anybody's hand. I saw something else. Not that an officer should be having a phone. I mean, come on, man. Like, you're approaching someone and your business is, let me take my cell phone out and record them. Let me get it recorded. I got to record this person. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't think, although they always scared for their goddamn life, they A fucking mouse would cause these people to shoot. You know, somebody's grandmama would cause them to shoot. Somebody's grandmother could walk up to them and be like, "Do you want some lemonade?" And they would be like, "Ah," and shoot her, right? So they're already fragile, and they're patrolling the streets and have little training, doing police work. And so, you know, they just, you know, have all types of excuses. Everyone knows the excuses are phony. Maybe you are scared, but look, the citizens are fucking scared of you. Don't you understand that? Citizens are scared of you. So if the citizens do something to you, it's because they're fucking afraid of you. They don't trust you. You're an intruder, and you don't come like you're trying to defend the community. You come like you don't give a fuck about the communities you show up in. I'm talking about ICE. So people can tell. People aren't stupid, and then they profess it out loud. I mean, ICE professes out loud that they hate liberals, right? That's what they do, and they did that. They hiring Proud Boys. You know, they're hiring people that think the election was stolen when Joe Biden won. They're hiring these kind of people. They're hiring Jan Sixers. They're hiring people that believe they have the right to use violence anytime they don't get what they want politically. That's what that is in the United States of America. And look, you know, it really lets me know that when you don't stomp these people out in the beginning, they grow back and can come back to hurt you. Like this whole thing about like, you know, leave people alone. I've left people like this alone my whole life. I never go to any of these goddamn places. If I'm in one of these towns where there's a red state, I'm in and out of that bad boy, but I'm out before you even knew I got there. You know, that's not a place I go to have fun. What the fuck? What do you think? You think I want to go to a red state to have fun? Why the fuck do I need to do that? You know what I'm saying? I do fly shit. Okay. I'm going to go, you know, how about I go ski somewhere, you know, go ski in Canada, for example. How about I go to all the places I'm wanted, motherfucker, where people appreciate me? There's loads of places like that in the world. Why I got to go to a red state and hang out? What am I going to do? Go to a place where I'm a stranger and they just, you know, don't like people like me. I'm going to go hang out there. No, but these people, they want to come to blue states, places they don't like. And they bring that hate with them and that bias with them. They bring it with them, right? Because they have bias. And then they make excuses about it. And listen, I'm just saying, I'm 55. I've seen this for a long time. And what I'm saying is that these people have always turned to the gun. They have always turned to violence. They have always turned to using media as like a disinformation tool, a propaganda tool, before they want to hunt and hurt people. I mean, this is the legacy of the country. You know, first, who are the first people that had bad press in the United States of America or in America? Who do you think the first people were to have bad press, to have signs put up about their ass? Signs. I mean, really, who do you think those first people were to have written shit about them? Who do you think those people were? Native Americans. Mm-hmm. The people that killed them off were afraid of them. Isn't that ironic? Yeah. Kind of like what happened to Renee Good. The people that were afraid of the folks are the ones that did all the exterminating and killing and beating and maiming. You see what I mean? You know, and so that's nothing new in the United States of America. They were scared of African Americans. Look, young boy, what's his name? Emmett Till was caught whistling at a white lady, right? And it was a lie, of course. The white lady made it up. This shows you the levels of just the levels of the bigotry, where you can imagine shit. And that's exactly what went on with Renee. And that's what they spit on the Fox News and they spit out of the White House podium. Fabrication. So Emmett Till, right? I mean, because look, when you want to demonize people, it doesn't matter what color they are. You're going to find it doesn't matter what sexual orientation they have. It doesn't matter if they're handicapped or able-bodied, like MAGA Mike Johnson says, able-bodied men, got to get back to work. He doesn't realize motherfucking handicapped people work. Like this motherfucker, this is the regime we live in. But when they want to demonize people, that's what they do. And so they did that. A woman said, and she knew people would believe it because they know the game. You know, you spread it first, people will believe it. Same thing with Jan 6. Look, so she said Emmett Till whistled. Young boy, Emmett Till. He was a young boy. Somebody said, the white lady, you know, I don't know her name. I don't remember her name. But she said that Emmett Till whistled at her. She made it up. And a mob came and lynched him and beat him profoundly. And the mother of Emmett Till had his casket be open at the funeral so the media could take pictures of it and spread it around so people could see how horrifically the mob, just like the Jan 6 mob, beat Emmett Till senselessly to death. And what happened? It was the lady lied. Said he whistled. It got promoted, you know, that quickly. So what they do when they want to terrorize you and hurt you and kill you and exterminate you is make up lies about you. And that's exactly what they did to cover up, to exterminate, you know, because that was an extermination, what they did to Renee Good. You know, he wanted to kill her, and he shot her exactly where you need to shoot to kill someone very rapidly and fast, right? Effectively. That was done like an extermination, you know, and then they went out and lied about it. They just used the media just like they did when the Native Americans got killed off, put up signs about them being savages. You know, you remember all that stuff? Do you remember the Enlightenment period where they had, you know, they would show on the graph what races, quote unquote, we talking about quote unquote now, that idea too, who was superior and who was inferior. And the more you go down the line, they got different groups of people and shit. And they had these drawings and stuff. Yeah, that's how they spread information back then. They made drawings and stuff. And so it's the same kind of shit, proper propaganda. When you want to exterminate people, you first spread lies about them. That is the game has not changed. That's an age old game. Look, when Russia wanted to exterminate the Jews, right? What they did was create the Tsar at that time created a book, right? Called the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Yeah. And he spread that book around in order to give excuses to the Russian people at this time to kill the Jews. And you can imagine what the lies were. Same, it's one of the booklets that motivated Hitler, or that inspired Hitler, actually, the Elders of Zion, this book. But it was a Russian Tsar propaganda book that they used. They spread that propaganda in Russia to kill the Jews. You know what I mean? And people are happy with it. You can't expect people that want to exterminate you to be truth tellers or to even care about the loss of your life. They don't have it in them to do that. See, that's the difference, because if they did, it would make them ineffective at exterminating people. If they had feelings, if they thought the people they were hurting were human beings, that would make them less, that would make them less able to do their job, which is to exterminate. You see what I mean? So you have to demonize these people. You have to make them, inhuman, not deserving of human treatment. And you have to assign yourself a higher place, so that gives you the justification for shooting down. You know what I'm saying? Like shooting down. Then you can do it. Then it makes it easy. Like, for the reason will be what? They're immigrants, so they don't deserve rights. It could be they're black, you know what I mean? So, hey, get rid of the 14th Amendment. It could be women, get rid of the 14th Amendment. It could be, they could do that. That's how they doing it today, boy. They go right to it and shit. Like, go right for the amendments. Get rid of the First Amendment. Get rid of the Fifth Amendment. Get rid of the Fourth Amendment. Get rid of the 14th Amendment. That's goddamn 4 amendments they already tried to get rid of. Just openly, like that's nothing. Like, that's just easy to talk about. They just come out of the gate like, you know what? What's a good idea today? Why don't we just get rid of some of these amendments? People got too many rights, and they're proud. They are proud to do it. They're proud to do it. They're proud to kill people. You notice how they don't cry. Notice how they don't show empathy when maybe they, when maybe they get it wrong. When maybe they get it wrong. Because the reason why I say this is because if you say when they get it wrong, right, then it sounds like, that's too much for them to enter the conversation. So you say maybe just to drag them in, maybe, but in instances like Renee Good, it's obvious they called her a bitch, right? The whole dynamic is that woman is not supposed to be there in her town, in the city she lives in, right? She doesn't have the right to be there, and she doesn't have the right to be concerned about what ICE is doing, right? And not just what they're doing, how they're doing. See, you don't have the right, the civil right, and you don't have the legal right, according to the law of the United States of America, to just do anything you want. Nobody has that right. Even ICE agents don't. There's exact things that they have to follow. And when you go outside of those exact things, you're committing a crime. That's what you're doing. And so, so that's basically where we're at today. So I'm saying all of that to say that this is what people have to deal with. These are the times. It's sad that these are the times. Of course, ICE people think it's, they vacillate. They think it's the best times on earth because, hey, things never been better because of Trump. But then they still complaining. They're still complaining. You see what I mean? Still complaining. Jobs are down. Jobs are down because of Trump. But hey, they're not going to get their health care. It doesn't look like they're going to get that anytime soon, right? But hey, times are a bit greater than ever. It's always been like this. But Elon Musk is eating well, and most of you MAGA people, you're not welcome to the party. You ain't going to be in there. They don't have any scraps for you. You see what I mean? You don't get the scraps at all. And yeah. Yeah, and of course, there's people that's going to lie. Like, again, she messed up accelerating into law enforcement. No, but actually, she didn't mess up accelerating into law enforcement because you don't actually have that on video. And if what you mean is leaving the scene, because to leave the scene, you have to accelerate mildly and cautiously, right? What they did was murder her while she was leaving the scene cautiously. So she has the right to leave the scene. They weren't police officers. They don't have the right to tell her to get out of the car. Yeah. So that's not their job. That's just it. It's not their job. They don't do traffic stops. You know what I mean? They don't know the law that way. You see what I'm saying? So, there you have it. Nobody saw her accelerate. There's no videotape that has her hitting the officer. So you're imagining that, just like the people did when they came in the United States and imagined that the natives were all savages. You see what I mean? I mean, it's no difference. Just like they did to little Emmett Till. They made up a story about how he whistled at the white lady and the mob came and lynched him. You know what I mean? And guess what? The woman finally told the truth 70 years later, just before she was about to die. She finally gave the truth out there that she lied. And people still didn't give a fuck. You see what I'm saying? So this is how ICE people are. This is how Trump supporters are. They don't give a fuck if you lie, and they're willing to lie all the time to your face. And, I'm aware of it, so it doesn't bother me, really. Everyone knows that they lie. Trump, the leader, is the best liar on earth. He's the most prolific liar, and he's got an actual skill at it, because his skill at lying is the art of just lying to your face, making it so obvious that he's lying and getting you to accept it, the gaslighting. Yeah, so that's how he has a lot of those maggots. It's like they make up excuses and shit for his lies. Like, he didn't mean it. Trust me, he loved you. Trump loved me. He's doing it for our best interest. Trust me. I know it hurts because my grandmother can't afford health care no more, but he loves me. Trust me. I mean, that's how they got him. That's how they got it. They done fucked it. It's called Stockholm syndrome. You know what I mean? So Trump is more, this is what I like about being on the blue side. We actually like to fuck people up when they demean us, and try to shit on us. I like that. But red states, they don't. They get Stockholm syndrome and shit and be like, Trump loves me and this motherfucker don't. Trump doesn't love them at all, and they actually accept it. They accept it. This is the only part that gives me gratitude. It makes me laugh and shit. This is the part I think is great, better than ever, because it's like, to watch this, everyone on earth says this. You don't even have to be an American citizen to say this. Everybody knows that's what MAGA people do. Even MAGA people that believe it and shit, they tell you this. This is what we hear in testimony. You hear MAGA people testifying in Congress that they was brainwashed by the media. You have people outside of Congress, just random people walking down the street making videos. I used to be a Republican, but this is why I'm not anymore. Is when you get in that group, the information is so narrow and they just keep repeating it over and over and over. Yo, it's facts. It is facts. And that's the gratitude I think every blue person gets, is because there are some people that everybody that was into MAGA or voted for Trump isn't necessarily an evil person. But the people that continue it, right, knowing that they're bigots, knowing that they don't really believe none of that shit, that they're in it to be bigots. So those kind of people are where the trouble is. It's not the people that get confused sometimes and then step out and admit. It's the ones that even after all this time, they're like, Trump was going to release the Epstein files, man. Bill Clinton is in it. That's why I'm voting for Trump. It's been how many? What is it? It's almost a damn. How long has it been? How long has it been? How long does it have to go? It's been a damn year. I mean, and it's been almost, and this dude he just flipped the whole script and said, nope, we ain't releasing a motherfucking thing because I'm in it. Ha ha. Surprise, everybody. It's all about me. And he tricked them like that. It was so obvious. And Pam Bondi did the same thing too. She went out there and capped, yeah, we're going to release it. And then was like, surprise, we can't release it. And that's in the MAGA people still cap for her. That's how you know the bigots. It's only the pure bigots that do the continuous cap. Don't even care how it looks. It could just be like, yeah, Donald Pump. It could, thank you. It could just be so obvious, and they still sucking up to his. That, I mean, they are some. See, they're not punks. But maybe they are punks, but they're bigots. You know what I mean? So it's like the bigotry makes them. The bigotry allows them to be punks. That's really what it is. I think a lot of them typically may not go down that route, but no, bigotry makes you a punk too. Bigotry makes you a punk. That it's like being a lame person. A lame person always trying to find a lame way out is basically a punk ass. You know what I'm saying? So there it is. But there it is. But having said all that, I'm glad people are doing well, given the circumstances. I'm glad. I'm happy to see the European nations. I shouldn't say it this way. Look, it ain't no big thing. Trump, you want special forces on Greenland, motherfucker? You got it. 24 hours later, special forces from 6 different nations, 8 different nations is in Greenland now. What's up, Trump? You still scared? You still scared about Greenland? He makes it look like that's really hard to do his shit. Like, it's impossible. No options there. I just have to take it for me. He took the oil. Look, do you know this fool took the oil from Venezuela and has been sending the money to a private bank account in his name, allegedly, something like that, in Qatar or in some Middle East country? Yeah, just right in everybody's face. And he actually wants to do that. He actually wants to continue that recipe. You see what I mean? Like, he wants to just steal everybody's money and just send it over there. That's just how it is with Trump, man. So it's bizarre. It's bizarre. And but then again, the maggot people, they give him agency to do that. If they didn't give him so much agency, he wouldn't feel so comfortable to do it. But they do. They give him the agency. See this guy in here, Chris? He's worshiping his ass. He's robbing Trump. Hey, how much do you get paid a year, Chris? What kind of job you got, buddy? Any particular job? Or I tell you what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? Gina, what state? Gina Yates, what state do you live in, and who's your healthcare provider? Yeah, let me know that. I'm just curious about that. I want to know how life is going. You know what I'm saying? You may as well. I mean, look, he's gonna have the same answer everybody got. Oh, my shit is up high. I can barely afford it. I'm paying 2 or 3 times more. Or he's gonna have the classic lie. I'm a vet. I don't pay for it. But no. Even the vets are paying more for different things. So no. Yeah, he's on there. He's taking the money to Saudi Arabia, but they give him agency. They give him people like Chris and whoever that is with the flags. Yeah, they give him agency. Chris is a butt licker. He's a professional Trump butt licker, and it ain't gonna stop because really what he means is he may as well have that Confederate flag up there, man. Go ahead, Chris, rock your Confederate flag, bro. Get it up there. Yeehaw! Go kill some niggas today. Yeah. You know, we're going to kick some Muslims out. Hey, really, that's the heart of it all. That's the heart of it all. And he just uses that to bait these people. Meanwhile, he's getting billions of taxpayer dollars. It's all about the taxpayer dollars. He got the oil money. He sent that overseas. Now he's grifting. He's getting billions of taxpayer dollars, sending it overseas. I mean, Trump is people. These MAGA people have made Trump richer than he's ever been in his entire life. Like straight up. What did they get in return? Nothing. Nothing. They got nothing. You know, just like I fly my rebel flag, but I don't. Yeah, but I don't like Donald Trump. Oh, well, hey, man, whatever. You better be careful about that rebel flag, too. But, yeah, be careful about that flag, man. But if I was you, I would think about it a little more, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to reject shit that your ancestors did that's wrong. Okay? That's okay. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying my ancestors are perfect either, but the key to life is knowing when you do some dumb shit. That's the key to life. That's how you get better. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't think that's like a big deal to give up your motherfucking rebel flag. That makes you smart, dude. That makes you intelligent. That makes you a decent person to give up something that's wrong. You see what I'm saying? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't give up my rebel flag. Shit. I don't understand people. Because, look, you're going to be wrong sometime. And a lot of times, look, there's a lot of people. I said it. Erykah Badu, she wrote a beautiful song. Bag lady, you gonna break your back. And also they need that song for men. Bag man, you gonna break your back. Dragging all those bags like that. Like straight up. Dragging all those bags like that. You got a Confederate flag. Don't even know why the fuck he got it. I got to keep it because my parents had it. Everybody in my neighborhood, I was born into this. Yeah, and so what? Most people are born into shit all the time. That don't mean you keep it. You got to progress, man. You got to elevate. You got to move on, you know. Take off, just like the snake, the lizards, you know what I mean? They peeled, their skin comes off. And they get new skin, man. Come on. You gotta accelerate. You want to survive, right? Or you want to just die on the same cross, you know, for no reason, without meaning, just out of pride. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have to move on. But how do you know so much? Do you read, or are these just your feelings? Oh, okay, Kevin. Yeah. No, I read also, Kevin. What do you think? You think I don't read, Kevin? Yeah. But I'm also, whether it's reading or whether, I don't think it's the reading that means I'm in touch with myself or intelligent, but reading helps, you know what I mean? It helps you maybe structure things in your mind when you hear it from another perspective. It gives you more dimension to what you going through, you know, in a way. But yeah, brother, or Kevin, if you're a brother, I guess you are, right? But I read, and I've always been a reader. You see what I mean? Before computers, at a young age, you know, I was reading. So reading books and things like that. So, and I've always stayed up on reading. I mean, half of them, you know, I'm 55 years old, so we didn't have this Facebook shit 20 years ago. That's Facebook, right? 20 years ago? 20 years ago? No. 15 years ago was Facebook when it really got popular, right? Something like that. It's not that old. Or maybe 16 years. I'm sorry. 18 years Facebook started getting popular, right? But I was 30 years old already, 30 something years old, 37 years old already, roughly, something like that. So I lived the majority of my life without these kind of social media platforms and and digital reading, this digital stuff, But so yeah, I'm used to picking up a good book and reading it and mulling over it a little bit at a time, thinking through things, taking my time. You know what I'm saying? I think it does kind of change your maybe I think reading is healthier for you, reading a book, than the internet. That I definitely do. Especially, you should take, especially for your eyes, just reading a book is better than a computer, But starting early, it's a good idea for kids to start early with entire stories so they can build up their capacity to comprehend a large event, not just small bits and pieces as they come to you. And I think that's that's a big problem with MAGA folk and how they think. They don't see the big picture. Like when it comes to the billions and billions of dollars and the connection to them paying the tax dollars and giving it away to Trump grifting, getting those tax dollars, these deals, these contracts with the government, the MAGA people don't connect themselves to it. They don't understand how a person like Trump could use their stupidity against them. Like, know that these people, there's a culture war. So they go into it and play people based on that. They go in and say, okay, this group of people doesn't like this. So what we will do is come in and promise them to do something. We will act like we identify with them, but really we're just doing that to get their votes, to put ourselves in position so we can get the government contracts. Really, we're elitists and we don't like their broke ass. They don't see that big picture. They don't see that pattern. So, and then if you want to change things, you need to see the big picture. The even bigger picture than that would be, okay, zoom out of the U.S. What is the globe like? You see what I mean? How's the globe functioning? How is the globe doing? Do people do things like where I come from? Do they do the same where they are? Well, you got to get out there and see the world to know that. You could read about it, but then you can get out there too and qualify it by firsthand information. You see what I mean? Or you could read a book and you can meet other people that also travel or that have written about it and been there, qualified it themselves. You can meet them and discuss it too. You see what I mean? So, look, somebody said clutching your pearls, fake outrage. Is this a repeat? This must be a repeat bot. That was a real original comment, Brett. Clutching your pearls. You made that up all by yourself, huh, Brett? In any case, yeah. I mean that's my view. Yeah, it's just my view though. It's just my humble view, Kevin. So, I only live my life by my own principles and my own views. You know what I mean? I don't follow other people. I communicate with other people. I think for myself and I make my decisions myself. You know what I mean? But to be able to do that, you got to be able to digest a lot of information too. You got to be up for it. I mean, and I think a lot of people bypass that, wanting to study the things that they want to participate in. And a lot of people just, maybe aren't used to processing information and then understanding, comprehending the information and then acting on the information. You see what I mean? So, but that's part of being a healthy human being and an adult. And that's the responsibility you have in your life. But of course, I had parents, particularly a father that also, made sure that I was able to put my hands in the ground at an early age and learn how to do something, learn how to fulfill a task. You see what I mean? I had some good guidance, you know what I mean? So, as a young man, as a young person, as a child. So I actually learned a lot, and a lot of my focus, I was able to train my mind at a young age because I had to do projects. I had to do projects alone that I was told to do, and I had to do projects with my father with he have his thing that he was doing. So I had to learn how to take instructions and complete tasks. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. Yo, exactly. You see that this is the algorithm though. The algorithm, they see somebody, they just grab something. What can a black man say? That's what I'll do. I'll take that statement and just throw it around the internet and see if it works. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell? But yeah, Kevin, I mean, I appreciate that though. I appreciate that. Once you investigate it and understand your worldview, exactly. And it is. And see, I already know there's going to be people that get triggered by even me existing. A lot of people just triggered by me existing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like just the fact that someone told me yesterday they didn't know Denmark had black people. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, and it's like Denmark does have a black population. Denmark has actually Denmark. You hear things, it just goes to show you, you might read something in the media and that there might be something real about that. But at the same time, it's also good to investigate, and it's also good to keep things in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like every place has people that complain about stuff that you will never escape. Anywhere you go in the world, you will never escape the fact that everywhere you go, people have things that they wish were better or wish would change. But some of the places you go, things do change. You see what I mean? And I would say Denmark is one of those places, like if you participate in the society, you know, things happen for you. And I think Denmark's a very democratic country. They appreciate when you know how to inform them properly in a responsible in a responsible way to where they can do something about it. If you let Danes know what can they do, it's not just come with a problem, but offer a solution. You know what I mean? And offer a solution that fits a standard that is already working, a working standard. Offer a solution that way. And if you can do that, I think Danes are pretty much up for it, man. Danes are they cool people. I don't have an issue myself, and I've seen some issues before. I mean, there's been issues with discrimination in Denmark before, but I don't think you're going to find any place on earth that doesn't have issues of discrimination. And the discrimination could be gender violence, it could be racial discrimination or color discrimination, it could be religious discrimination, and it could also be with different groups too, not just necessarily like an ethnic Dane doing something to a non-ethnic Dane, but it could also be an ethnic person, non-ethnic Dane, doing something to another non-ethnic Dane, or it could be interdiscrimination. One saying another non-ethnic, two people of the same non-ethnic Dane, you could say quote unquote ethnicity, discriminating somehow within their ranks. You know what I mean? It could be broad. So, that's also something to pay attention to, but generally speaking, I think Denmark has a good formula, because I think a lot of what people, the class war is largely part of that. It's the thing that kind of keeps everything else lingering. You know what I mean? And I think when everybody has access to education, everybody has access to, health services, right? I think that puts you in a better situation in terms of obtaining, status, the status you want to have. I think, then everyone is on a certain level, so in Denmark, everybody's on a certain level. You see what I mean? Already from the start. So it kind of eliminates some other issues. It eliminates a lot of other issues, I would say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I would say. But in any case, I think you would find that Denmark's like one of the happiest places on earth. That's what they say, one of the happiest societies. So there's reasons for that. So although you hear people complain and mention maybe different things that might go around, at the same time, it still is one of the happiest places, and they mean that for everybody. It's loads of people that come here and they love Denmark for what it is. And for me, it's my home, it's my home now. Like I do like how Danes do things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just saying it. And I have a reason to be able to understand why I like it, because my motherfucking country is horrible at the things Danes are good at. You know what I'm saying? So immediately I can make the connection like, oh, okay, damn. You mean anybody can go to school if they want to get an education? Interesting. You mean if they focus on that, they could get their degree in whatever they want to get it in? I like that without having student loan debt over your head the rest of your life. Sounds like a great idea to me. Universal health care. Okay. Wow. You mean so that how does universal health care affect your work ethic? You know, how does it affect your work ethic? Have you thought about that? For me, universal health care, it affects my work ethic, but it affects my ethic in general because everybody is supporting that. So when you walk around on the street, you know that the underlying thing is everybody's holding each other up. You see what I'm saying? And you would have to be an asshole to not understand that. You see what I'm saying? And I see there's still the bots. So they only got one word: deport. Robot speaking. I want Somalis out of the country. It's like, damn, even the robots are bigots. This must be motherfucking Grok posing as Ted East. And that's a phony ass name too. Ted East. Let me just, what name? I got to make up 20 names today. Well, Ted East, John Brown. Like, what the fuck? That's the internet for you. But really, I think those things affect your ethic, you know? And, of course, a robot wouldn't know that because a robot doesn't actually have a human experience. So they don't have an ethic. You know what I mean? They don't know how universal healthcare affects your ethics. You know, it affects your... It's like, that's some shit a robot can't compute. But in any case, I decided to go not left. I'm gonna go right today, but I haven't done it in a while. And it is very, very interesting because it's someone that I really hate, that repulses me. And talk about poor ethic, and talk about what this is. Like, the person I'm about to show you obviously really thinks very, very highly of herself, because every second she opens her mouth, she sounds like she's talking down to everybody in the room. I've never heard this particular person sound like she's talking to anybody that's equal to her. You know what I'm saying? I've never heard it. It's like her job is literally to come outside and talk down to people. Who you think I'm talking about? You just let me know if you know who I'm talking about.
Great healthcare plan. And a video message detailing his solutions to lower costs for all Americans.
Let me talk down to you a little bit today. Hello. Let me tell you how you ain't shit, okay?
And significantly improve our healthcare system.
You hear how she talks? It's very aggressive, very, it's like she's full of, she has a defensive posture when she speaks. You know, it almost sounds like she's responding to someone else that she's annoyed by, even just from the start. No one's asked her a question yet, and this is how she's talking.
The Great Healthcare Plan will accomplish this through 4 common sense pillars. Number 1, permanently lowering prescription drug prices. Congress can get this done by codifying.
It's like, who did something to her? Who did something to her? Nobody did anything to her yet, and this is her tone.
President Trump's historic most favored nation initiatives into law to guarantee Americans the same low prices for prescription drugs that people in other countries around the world pay. Additionally, by increasing...
Did you hear the language just changed right there? That people around other countries in the world pay. Why don't you make some laws about that? Why don't you just make some laws about it? Why does it have to be executive order, executive order? You know, that's what lets you know it's a carrot, just to keep you going along. Just another little carrot. Come on, just one more foot. Give me one more day of your time. Here you go. Let me just, here we go. I mean, are people tired of scraps? It's your money. They collect the taxes And then they hold people some scraps out there, a wish list, and it's supposed to be cheaper. Okay, well, if it's cheaper, I won't tell you to not buy it. But why can't, since he has the majority of the Congress, and since Democrats want lower prescription drugs, right? And also, let's flip it around. What if you believe the Democrats are really the problem, right? Wouldn't you want to call the Democrats out by telling the Republicans to make a new bill that brings down all prescription drug medicine, right? To make sure that all middle class and poor people can afford it, like with no doubt, make it totally reasonable. Wouldn't you want to call the Democrats out if you think the Democrats are fake? Isn't that how you do it in government? Like if you think a party is fake, the best thing to do is make a bill that party keeps saying they want to do something about. Make a bill that's perfect for that and see if they sign it. It seems to me like that's what if the Democrats are fake, and if anybody thinks they're fake about health care, it seems to me like that's how you would do it, right? But instead, they haven't even proposed one bill about health care. Nothing about health care, nothing about prescription medicine. They don't do one bill. And I'm sorry, isn't that what lawmakers get paid your tax dollars for? I mean, how is it this Congress is the Doolittle Congress. This Republican Party is the extra Doolittle party because they don't even write shit. At least the Democrats write things and propose it. The Republican Party wrote one damn bill. It's 10 months. It's 10 damn months. I mean, it's like, what is it? What's going on? What's today's date? How many days we got left? What's today's day? It's the 16th. It's 14 days left to and if they don't fund the government, it's going to go into shutdown in 14 days. So there is light at the tunnel. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I almost forgot that. Amen. I hope they don't pass the budget.
Increasing in consumer choice.
Impeach Trump. Don't pass any budget. Just get his ass out of there. Don't fund any federal workers. As a matter of fact, what is it? Is it 19? No, it's 16. Yes. Amendment, Bill of Rights, number 16. Bill. Let me see here. Where is it at? Bill of Rights number 16. Let me do that. Bill of Rights number 16 is the let me see here. 16th Amendment. 16th Amendment is the law that requires all citizens, all residents to pay federal taxes. Okay. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without apportionment among the several states and without regard to any census or enumeration. Right. Okay. So the 16th Amendment in the United States, ratified in 1913, that is the legal foundation for modern federal income taxes. Can we abolish the 16th Amendment, since the Republicans want to abolish the 4th, the 5th, the 1st, the 14th? Can we abolish the 16th Amendment and just get this shit over with? Say, yay! If you want to abolish the 16th Amendment, put a 1 in the chat, and we just ended, because this is what this is about. Not funding the government will, hey, I say just abolish the 16th Amendment and then be gone with it. You pay for your own fucking pride. You think something should be done? Let the private industry fucking pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't have to pay for our own suffering. We shouldn't have to pay taxes for ICE. We shouldn't have to pay taxes for Trump. We shouldn't have to pay taxes for criminals. We shouldn't have to do none of that shit. You know what I mean? We can just say fuck federal taxes, right? If it's okay to advocate ending the First Amendment, fucking with the 14th Amendment, if it's okay to fuck with those things, right? Why can't we advocate to just abolish the 16th Amendment? Yeah. Then you won't have to pay any federal taxes. Then you won't care what the fuck they think or what they do, because it's not your money then, right? Then they can't steal your money. They could only steal their own. You see what I mean? Like, really, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you just stop collecting money from everybody, stop begging for money from the people, then you could just, no one gives a fuck. We can make our own. We'll make our own road. Fuck you. Stay out of our town. Stay out of our state, motherfucker. Just stay completely out. We don't want nothing from you. We will make our own vaccines, make everything. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the 20th, the 25th, enact the 25th Amendment. All right. Hold on. Let me see there. Enact. Hold on. Let me play some more Caroline, and then let me dig this up. The 25th Amendment. Let's see there.
By making more verified, safe
She's going to be asked questions really soon, but I just wanted to illustrate a little bit of her annoying voice first.
pharmaceutical drugs available for over-the-counter purchases. Number 2, the Great Healthcare Plan will stop sending big insurance companies billions in extra taxpayer-funded subsidy payments and instead send that money directly to eligible Americans to allow them to buy the health insurance of their choice.
That's a fraud also.
Additionally, by funding a cost-sharing reduction program for healthcare plans and ending kickbacks from pharmacy benefit managers to large brokerage middlemen. Number 3, the Great Healthcare Plan will maximize price transparency by requiring any healthcare provider or insurer who accepts either Medicare or Medicaid to publicly and prominently post their pricing and fees to avoid surprise medical bills. This is an incredibly popular policy that has been bipartisan for many years, and President Trump is officially and firmly calling on Congress to get it done. And number 4, holds big insurance companies accountable by requiring them to publish rate and coverage comparisons up front on their websites in plain English so consumers and everyday Americans.
Doesn't she sound like she's talking to a bunch of frustrated people? I mean, you know what I'm saying? She sounds like she's frustrated. Just her normal tone when she comes out here. I don't know if that's how she talks when she's not, in public, but she sounds like she's very, very, like she feels like she's being antagonized. But mind you, no one's asked her a question yet. She just walked in the room and started talking like this. So, but let's get to the questions, because I don't want to hear her propaganda. Caroline, propagandist.
Podcast, The Riley Gaines Show. And so thank you. And you brought a beautiful baby and your lovely husband too. So thank you so much for joining. And why don't you kick us off?
Absolutely. Well, thank you. First and foremost, congratulations to you. Being a girl mom.
Yeah. Anyway.
Case.
I don't even want to hear this. But what did they just call her? A girl mom? What did they just?
Sex-based rights. Is the administration prepared to take action?
Wait a second. Wow, that was an interesting question. All right, let's hear that.
I know you have a new podcast, The Riley Gaines Show. And so thank you. And you brought a beautiful baby and your lovely husband too. So
yo, click the like button, y'all. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining. And why don't you kick us off?
Absolutely. Well, thank you. First and foremost, congratulations to you. Being a girl mom will change your life in the best way possible. So excited you get to shop all the pink and the frilly and the bows. I was in Washington, D.C. earlier this week for the Supreme Court case. There were 2 arguments that were heard surrounding sex-based rights and if it's constitutional for states to pass laws that ultimately protect those rights for women. If the Supreme Court rules as anticipated in favor of maintaining these sex-based rights, is the administration prepared to take action against the states? I believe at this point it's 23 states that don't have those protections for women?
Absolutely. And as you know, Riley, the administration already has done so. We've taken action in a number of fronts against these states who are failing to uphold the president's executive orders in this administration's policy of simply protecting women in women's sports and in women's private spaces. We've gone to the mat with large universities in this country as well to try to fight for what's fair and what's just for women and girls across the country. So I know you were at the arguments. I listened to them myself as a woman and as a former athlete, and I think the president speaks on common sense on this issue, that women's sports and
common sense. Come on now. Trump don't speak on anything with common sense. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't have common sense. What the hell?
Private spaces should be protected.
Exactly. That's all he can do. No law. Nobody's going to go anywhere. No one's going to wake up in the morning to do shit for Trump, apparently. They don't want to write nothing down for Trump. I mean, it's a two-way street, because think about this. If you didn't like him, anyway, but you're going to go along with it just because you hate Democrats more, then it's great. Then Congress, Republican Congress is in a great situation because they get a free check. They don't have to produce anything. They have less hours, less work. No one's doing any business. There's no business. It's more, this Congress has had the most relaxing, Republican Congress, they've had the most relaxing time in any Congress has ever had. So, not making a law means less work, and Trump is willing to do executive law, and not even ask them to do anything. But see, what I don't understand is if you're an American citizen and you live in the U.S., I'm an American citizen, but I don't live in the U.S., so I don't have to pay taxes. I just have to report them, right? So as long as I report them, that's it, right? So I do report my taxes, every year I report them. But, since none of my money goes there, my money stays here with the tax system here, the federal taxes here, and the state taxes. We don't have it. It's all one. It's a commune tax, and you pay everything through it, the state and the federal level. It's all in one. But so my money goes to universal health care. My money goes to universal education. But if I was an American citizen living in the U.S. and I was a Republican, I would be like, doesn't it bother Republicans? Now, let me hear the Republicans here, because I know some Republicans in the chat. Doesn't it bother you that you pay for someone's lifestyle in Congress that is not producing any work, like no laws at all, is not writing any laws? Like, are you cool with that? Because I don't know. I'm just going to say, and I have to be productive. My job is not that tasking but then again, I'm 55, but when I was younger, I had a lot of jobs where I had to produce, I had to fulfill things on time. I had quotas I had to meet. And it wasn't the easiest work. I did construction for like maybe 10, 11 years. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do a lot of physical labor on live construction sites and do them in an orderly fashion, otherwise, because I had a business, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was, getting the shit done orderly and quickly, because come on, I want some more business, right? But so I didn't waste time, you know what I'm saying? But it makes me, people they expect things from me, in order for them to pay me, and there's nothing wrong with that. But most of my life, I had to produce. And the reason why people hire me is because I was able to produce. But you still have to produce. It's not like you produce and you get a job and you say, okay, now I got the job, let me bring down the standard. No, it's about production. And I always had to produce. And that's the whole point. So, but in this case, you're paying them and they don't have to produce, and I just wonder, is that okay with the MAGA people? Like, that you pay people that you don't have any requirements from them, you don't expect anything from them. A lot of the MAGA people, I've never heard them say anything outside of what? The only thing I've ever heard them say they don't like is immigrants and transsexuals or trans people. Sorry to say transsexual, trans people. I'll just say that. Those are the two things I heard them say they don't like. Nothing else. They never ask for anything else. They don't even ask for clean water. MAGA voters don't even ask for clean water. They don't ask for emergency systems for hurricanes. Nothing, flooding. There's nothing they want. I've never heard it. So tell me right now, those of you that's Republicans in the chat, what do you want the Republicans to do for you? What do you want them to do? Do you want them to do anything? Because I know if I ask the lefties in here, they're going to have a long ass list. You know, they demand shit from their representatives every day. And they, even the lefties are like, I'm tired of this old motherfucker. We're going to get rid of his ass and get somebody else. That's how much the lefties are on the shit. The Republicans, they don't even give a fuck how old you are. They could be there. There was one guy that's there. There's one guy that just be up in there and shit. Up in these goddamn meetings and shit, sleeping, you know? And you see, everyone knows, look, immigration, that's nothing, my friend. That's nothing. That's not even a big request. They turn a small request into a huge one where you got to blow up the town. Sorry, I don't think there's any confusion about immigration in the United States. I think, well, there is confusion. I think the only confusion is that how you get it done. It's not that it needs to be done. It's how you do it. And this thing about the law, not breaking the law, it has to be done sensibly, right? But and listen, the point where you're throwing people on airplanes and a judge have to tell you turn that motherfucking airplane around, that means you broke the law. Why would you break the law? Why do you have to break the law? You know what I'm saying? ICE is being arrested right now in Minnesota. Oh, hell yeah. As a matter of fact, we're going to have to get to that. You know, they broke into a van. I don't know if y'all know that. They broke into a van in Minnesota, and they got some information out of that van. Yeah, they got information. As a matter of fact, I think this might be a good thing. But listen, y'all, please, Republicans today, tell me something else besides deport. What do you want from this motherfucker? Just tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. I'm curious. It doesn't seem like they want anything. It's just immigration. That's it. And no trans, immigration and no trans in the bathroom. That's it. That's all the Republicans, that's all MAGA supporters want. That is strange. For a political party, that's weird, yo. I can't get down with that. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? If I don't like a trans person, I can just go the other way. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? If you don't, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell, man? Like, but these people literally, even the trans people they don't even see bother them. That shit is crazy. It's like, what's the percentage? What is the percentage in the U.S.? And just the idea bothers them. They want a law based on this. Just the fucking idea. And then on top of it, they make all these laws up. I don't want a man going in the ladies' bathroom. Isn't that what you heard a lot about from Republicans? That line, I don't want a man going in the ladies' bathroom. Let me tell you something. I'm a man and I'm not trans, okay? I got a ding-a-ling, okay? And I know how to use it too. And I use it on women, okay? Okay, that's what I'm doing. Now, I'll go in the ladies' bathroom if I got to take a leak. What the hell? What the hell? Yo, what the hell is that? They do all of this shit, or make all of this trouble about a man in the ladies' bathroom, and then a dude like me will go take a leak in the ladies' bathroom anyway. Because listen, if the bathroom is available and I need to take a leak, you know, pretty much I'm going to take it. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, there's people that really like bothers them. That really bothers them. You know, somebody said, look at this. Somebody said, look at these. Look at this. This is weird. Don't worry, y'all. Don't worry about it, because there's always trolls in the beginning. But yeah, somebody said, you know, that's so funny. That's so interesting. Have you ever? Let me ask you something. How many of you have been in a neutral bathroom, in a bathroom where it's just men and women? You ever seen one like that with stalls, individual stalls? Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen it? I've seen it too. I've seen it too. I don't understand it. You know, I think this might have something to do with projection. I think a lot of the MAGA people, the reason why they're so against it is because they have those thoughts in their mind that they will do something to somebody else. Like, if you think that you're a rapist, then you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. because you would be thinking, oh, he's going in there. It's not to take a leak. It's not because the bathrooms might be cleaner than the men's bathroom. Yo, some of these men's bathroom in the U.S., man, are disgusting. I don't want to go in no disgusting ass fucking bathroom. And listen, and I'm serious. And, it's just that way. Sometimes men don't fucking clean up, man. Sometimes they don't take. I mean, I'm just telling you. So I think a lot of the people that think about that, that's just something they're projecting what's in their head, because when I go to it, and it's the same thing. I mean, if you went to a neutral bathroom, let me ask you, have you ever been to a neutral bathroom? I mean, I've been to a neutral bathroom. I've never thought about no lady while I'm in the bathroom. I'm sorry. I've never thought about no lady when I was in a neutral bathroom. Have you been in a neutral bathroom? Do you know how many people in the world use neutral bathrooms? Have your kids ever gone to a neutral bathroom? I mean, have you? I'm talking about, just so you know what I'm talking about. You go in, there's no stand-up places for men to pee. There's no open areas where you see people using the bathroom. You go in the bathroom and there's maybe 20 or 30 stalls, right? Each one of them has an individual door, and each one is maintained. The facility is maintained by a staff member. Have you ever been in one of those? Have you ever been in one of those? Yeah, but you should be. To be honest with you, there's one. I went on a trip to a castle in Denmark, and the castle was called Hammershus Castle, right? Most people know what that is. That's in an island called Bornholm, right? And I went with my kids and the mama, right? And we went out there and had a good time. Viewed the castle. It's castle ruins actually, but there's a museum right next to it, and the museum is paid for by public dollars, right? But the bathroom in it has a restaurant. It has all kinds of shit in the museum stuff. But the bathroom is a neutral bathroom. Yeah, the bathroom's a neutral bathroom. But let me ask you something. What is it that you need to do in a bathroom that you can't do in a private area? See, I'm just trying to understand like what this idea is, because I think it's kind of weird, and I think it happens like for me, I've never thought about somebody else when I'm in the bathroom. You see what I mean? When I have to go to the bathroom to use the bathroom, I don't think about who else is in there. I think about using the bathroom and going on my way, and usually, pretty much, I mean, I use stalls, so they're all private. Even in the men's bathroom, they're all private. Even in the neutral bathrooms, they're all private. So I'm really trying to understand where it's coming from. You see what I mean? I'm trying to understand where it's coming from. I've also, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, I think they make a lot out of that. Like I was saying, Republicans, they only talk about trans people and they talk about immigrants. But outside of policy, when you ask a Republican, what do you want? They don't know anything. But they hate the idea that a dude like me, a heterosexual dude, would go in the women's bathroom, shut the stall if I have to take a leak, and then leave the bathroom clean. That would be their problem. You see what I mean? So I'm trying to understand, what else do you want? What else do you want policy wise? You have to want more than trans people not to exist to use the ladies' bathroom, and you have to want more than immigrants gone, right? So what do you want? What do you want? You can see, everybody in the chat can see they don't have an answer. So this is how it is. This is how it is dealing with. There it is. There's nothing there. There's still nothing there. Nothing there. You see, there's no actual response to anything policy wise. And to be an adult in a democratic country, paying taxes, to not have anything to be able to say that you want in terms of your taxes and in policy, that's sick. That's lame. You know, you're expected at the very least, because you're in a democracy and you're literally paying someone to go to work to lay down policy for you, and that there's nothing you want. You know, that's weird. No. Look, somebody said, where do you want to start with the previous administration? No. I want to start with you. What policy do you want outside of no trans men in the ladies' bathroom and no and no immigrants? What other policy do you have? What do you want for your money? They don't have anything. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, Trump is a clown. Yo, but they don't have anything, and that's curious. That's curious. That means there's something intellectually not there, you know, because they don't actually know. Yeah, I'm just being honest, man. I'm being honest. I ain't got all day, man. If I got to use the bathroom, I ain't got all goddamn day to be. I'm just being honest, yeah, about it. But you know, I mean, I noticed. Look, have you never been? I've been in enough bathrooms around the world to know that men don't keep the bathrooms so nice. A lot of times men go in there pissing all over the place, you know, and the women's bathrooms are usually kept better because they sit down. You see what I mean? They don't piss all over the place. Nobody want to go in the bathroom and have to clean up and all of this shit, like somebody, and it smells like piss. Are you out of your mind? Yo, I'm sorry, man. I'm used to a little bit better than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? I like a decent bathroom, a clean with an attendant, somebody that's cleaning it. You see what I'm saying? What the fuck? You can see these people. Wow, man. They used to the day. They used to. Where you going to, the trucker stop and shit? Man, you going to the trucker's men's stop? Okay, I got you, man. I got you. You know, I'll drive to a damn hotel first. All right, but in any case, enough said. They don't want no policy. There's no other policy besides trans men going in the ladies' bathroom and get some immigrants. All right, we had enough time on that. I get it. But I think I proved my point. Because not one person had one goddamn thing. And keep in mind, the world is watching. The world is watching. They don't care. They didn't even say education. They didn't even say healthcare. Nope. They don't want education. They didn't want healthcare. They didn't say clean water. They didn't say clean air. They didn't say a union job. They didn't say a job that they didn't say child care. They didn't say elder care. They didn't say nothing. You see what I'm saying? They didn't say anything. I think that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, if you want to know what MAGA people think, all you got to do is ask them and you get it. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. But in any case, let's hear some more from the MAGA queen. This is the one they like, too. Let's hear from her belligerent ass. Here we go.
And that there are two genders, there are two sexes. That is not something we should be afraid to say in this.
There are two genders and two sexes. I told you. What the? This is funny, yo. This is funny. This is some funny shit. Hey, listen, it's okay to state your opinion, but don't spam it. Don't spam it. You know what I'm saying? Like, please don't spam it. Write one message and then write a different one. Okay? Just so you know. Yeah. But yeah. She's, you know, this is Caroline Levitt. She don't want no health care. I mean, at least she could say that they're trying to make the prescription prices down. Trump's going to do an executive order to bring down the prescription. At least she said that. The MAGA people don't want it, though. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know why she's doing it, because they don't want it. If you ask a MAGA person, do you want it? They say no, because the truth of the matter is that the only party that has cheaper medicine on their platform coming out of Congress is the Democratic Party. The Republicans actually don't have it in a bill. She's not asking for it to be in a bill. And she's taking up time talking about two sexes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, damn, like you that upset about your sex. You so insecure that you're afraid if somebody thinks differently about themselves. Like, wow, it really bothers her. She's not secure, and she feels like some dude calling himself, or excuse my language, though, excuse me, but she's concerned about someone else who she doesn't affirm to be a woman calling themselves a woman because it makes her less than a woman herself. That's literally what's happening. For me, I don't even argue with people. I don't got time for that shit. Yo, I don't have time to argue about anything. I got shit to do myself. I have things to do that have something to do with building myself up. I'm not worried about what someone else. That's negative energy. That's a waste of time trying to argue with someone else about who they think they are. That's crazy. That's crazy.
This country, and I think frankly it was quite alarming to not only hear a couple of justices gravel over that basic fundamental biological fact that men and women are different but inherently equal, but we are certainly different and women deserve such.
No tax on, finally we got one thing, no tax on overtime. No tax on overtime. And that's kind of lame for me, though. I'm sorry. That's not enough for me. I get you. Maybe that's okay. But don't you? How about this? How about raise the federal minimum wage? How about do that? Let's start there. If because I mean, this no tax on overtime. What about the other fucking 8 hours you got to work a day? God damn. The other 8 hours you got to work a day for a lot of people ain't shit in the U.S. Nothing, literally, not getting paid a wage that can pay the bills. And I'm talking about just a middle class or poor person bills, like really. But people talking about overtime. I get you. I hear you, KJ. No tax on overtime. That's better than most people suggested. And most of the Republicans suggested in the chat. But yo, I'm on one up you, AJ. I'm going to say raise the minimum wage. The federal minimum wage. I'm going to say move it from $7, because you're going to die getting $7 an hour, yo. Like, that's just a trick job. That's a job you give a slave. That's what I would say. Sharecropping, anybody? Anybody want to be a sharecropper? Indentured servant? Who's getting that? I don't know.
Rights. We hope and expect that the Supreme Court will rule in the right way on this matter. Thank you. Gabe.
We hope that the courts. Is she even talking about a law? Nope. She's talking about an executive order. We hope that the courts.
A lot to talk about.
Sure. Isn't there always a lot to talk about?
What can you share about the president's meeting with Maria?
That's that fake ass smile again. She didn't sound happy when she came out and gave her introduction speech.
Machado, is it underway? What can you share about that? And then also, the president said yesterday that Delcy Rodriguez was, quote, a terrific person. Does the president trust the remaining members of the Maduro regime?
I will say, to your first question, the meeting was about to begin as I was stepping out of the Oval Office moments ago, so my understanding is that it's underway right now. I know the president was looking forward to this meeting, and he's was expecting it to be a good and positive discussion with.
Yo, minimum wage in Texas is $7. That's what I heard. $7. $7 an hour. Anybody from Texas? Where you at? I think Donnie's from Texas, actually.
Ms. Machado, who is really a remarkable and brave voice for many of the people of Venezuela. So the president looks forward to obviously talking to her about the realities on the ground in the country and what is taking place. As for Ms. Rodriguez, the president did speak with her directly this week, as you know.
I said she has a fake ass smile. That sounds hateful to you? I mean, it's okay. What, I can't hate her? I can't hate on her? Something wrong with that?
He revealed that to all of you.
Do I have to like her? I have to think she's a genuine person for you? I don't think she's a genuine person.
Yesterday, and Secretary Rubio and the administration have been in constant communication with Ms. Rodriguez and other members of the interim government in Venezuela. They have been extremely cooperative. They have thus.
White man from town, how much you get paid an hour?
far met all of the demands and requests of the United States and of the president. And I think you have all seen that play out. We obviously had a $500 million.
I'm talking about, somebody said trans at genuine. You don't write English. I'm talking about her character, moron. See, it's you weirdos. You weirdos aren't thinking about character. You're constantly trying to judge someone else. That's like, listen, man, I'm sorry, but you guys missed the point. Character. I'm talking about her character. I'm not talking about her color. Okay? I'm not talking about her hair color. I'm talking about her smile. The smirk on her face looks fake to me. I didn't say she's ugly. I didn't say anything like that. I didn't say it. You don't understand that? So you think that in body language, people don't, show when they're being authentic or fake or lying or telling the truth, or you don't get a sense from people at all? You see what I mean? That's ridiculous. You see what I mean? How they try to do that? Every human being senses people, right? You sense them and you can feel them by their body language. It doesn't matter who you are. Now, if you're a bigot, you only do that with certain kind of people. But if you're a healthy person, you just do that with everybody. Everybody, it doesn't matter who they are. Every single person that comes across you, you judge them that way by how you feel. You see what I mean? And you pay attention and you look. So me having a chance to look at her over a prolonged period of time, I've come to the conclusion that she's, faking when she's out here. She doesn't give off genuine character feelings. I mean, poor character maybe, but, she doesn't seem genuine in that way. You see what I mean? She seems very fake, and I'm commenting on her smile also being fake, is being a part of that, that's all.
Dollar energy deal that was struck in large part because of the.
I know. I don't know. I don't actually know if she's a real woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she's a woman with a vagina. How would I know? How would I know that? How would you know? How would you know Caroline Levitt got a vagina? How would you know? How would you know? Have you seen her vagina? How would you know Caroline Levitt got a vagina? What if she's lying to you? What if she's lying to you? And you just like, oh, yeah, she said she was a woman. Oh, she looked like a woman. How do you know she's pregnant now? How do you know that? How do you know? Again, how do you know anything? Shit, it's men out there carrying babies in their stomach. I mean, quote unquote, biological men or people that, you would call men. Yeah, that's what some trans operations, man. Like straight up. So what I'm saying is this. If you haven't seen it, you don't actually know. You don't really know. You don't really know. You don't know, man. And that's the thing about it, Now, I think a lot of guys out there, what I heard is that a lot of guys out there, they think they dating. This is where the problem with the trans community comes in, because they think they might be dating someone who's not trans, and that person looks like a woman to them, and then they find out it's not, and they blow up. They go, and want to kill her ass. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, that happens a lot. Like, so I don't get where this is going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where the hate for the trans community comes in, because so how would you know she's not trans? That's what I'm saying. How do you know Caroline Levitt is not a trans woman? Because she say so? You going to go by what she say? You going to go by what she say? Where's her birth certificate? What does it say on the birth certificate? Have you seen her birth certificate? How do you know she wasn't born a biological man? I mean, you don't know. That's the whole point. There it is. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. It's just that this is the bottom line. So that's the whole point. That's the whole point. And again, she's the Secretary of State. So why would you give a fuck? I mean, the White House press secretary. I'm sorry. But so why would you give a shit? It's not like you're going to date her anyway. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do you need her to be a motherfucking, do you need her to be born the way she identifies? Is that what you need? Or do you need somebody that knows how to be a fucking press secretary? Because she ain't that good at it. I'm going to tell you that much. She's not that good.
Operation from Ms. Rodriguez. Venezuela and Ms. Rodriguez have also confirmed that they will be releasing political prisoners from Venezuela. There were 5.
Look, somebody says she's clearly a woman. Okay. All right. If that's what you think, man. That's what you think. I don't think you know what they can do with these operations, man.
Americans who were recently released this week as well. So the president likes what he's seeing and will expect that cooperation to continue.
And regarding the investigation into the leak that the president referenced yesterday, what is the administration's position on the Washington Post reporter? The Post has reported that she was told that she is not a target of the investigation. Does the administration believe she did anything wrong? And then also, what is the administration's position on the Pentagon Papers case from the 1970s that affirmed reporters' right to publish classified information under certain circumstances?
Well, since this is an active investigation, I don't want to comment on it much more.
KJ said, he said, KJ Ukra said Caroline Levitt has clearly had a lot of work done. Yeah, man. Listen, she had some gender affirming nose job. She had a gender affirming lip job. Isn't that what they was talking about? She had some damn, they had a picture of her where she's got her little, she's trying to get thicker lips, yo. Did you know that? Let me look that up right now. Is Caroline Levitt trying to make her lips larger through gender affirming surgery? Let me see here. I mean, listen, you can be it's really up to you. I mean, I've seen women that I didn't think looked too womanly to me, but they were still, people born with vaginas. So, you know what I'm saying? Being attracted to them or thinking they're attractive doesn't have much to do with it. Let me see here. What does this say? It says, it says the source of the gender affirming label on Caroline Levitt. Yeah, exactly. In December 2025 and early 2026, high definition close-up photos of Levitt, specifically from a Vanity Fair profile, went viral. Some social media users and commentators began mockingly labeling her rumored cosmetic procedures like lip fillers and gender affirming care. The intent critics used this phrasing to point out what they view as the hypocrisy, noting that some conservative figures oppose gender affirming care for transgender individuals, while allegedly utilizing cosmetic procedures to affirm their own traditional feminine experience. And look, it's men doing that shit too. Look, man, this dude's going out there. Do you know it's guys out there getting chest implants and shit just to make themselves look more manly? Like, what kind of fucking it's people that do that. I mean, I don't do shit like that. I'm very natural person, so I don't believe in anything. I don't have one tattoo. I don't have an earring. I've never had any of that stuff. I don't believe in changing anything on my body. Actually, I don't normally talk about this. But I've always been that way, right? But I don't talk about it. It's not like I sit up there and tell people what they can do with their bodies. It's just I'm a certain way and nobody ever told me what to do. You see what I'm saying? But there's people out there doing this kind of shit. Like, she does it. So what's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference? I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, does she feel like a woman getting gender affirming lip surgery? What's wrong with her lips? Anything wrong with her lips? Do they look manly? Something wrong with them? I'm just curious. Like, anything wrong with her lips? I don't know. Does it make her look better? Does it make her look more like a woman or more like a man? Her lip job. I mean, I'm just saying,
more than what we did yesterday to obviously confirm the investigation, and I can confirm what the Attorney General stated and the President as well, which is that the individual
Caroline is a moron, and the people that cap for her are morons too, as you can tell.
Unfortunately, a contractor.
They don't know what they want in policy. They out there worried about somebody. They out there worried about a man taking a leak in the ladies' bathroom. Damn. You got a whole policy around that.
The Pentagon chose to unlawfully leak classified and very serious information to this Washington Post reporter. Hence why the reporter's home was looked into by the FBI, rightfully so. And the administration is not going to tolerate leaks, especially from within the national security apparatus of the United States government, that put our nation's integrity and our...
Ooh, you hear what she's talking about? She's talking about right here. They asked her about people saying fuck Trump in the government and leaking shit. Let's hear that again. You could hear her attitude. She's starting to get a attitude again and shit.
Yesterday.
The Caroline we know is back up now. Check it.
What is the administration's position on the Washington Post reporter? The Post has reported that she was told that she is not a target of the investigation. Does the administration believe she did anything wrong? And then also, what is the administration's position on the Pentagon Papers case from the 1970s that affirmed reporters' right to publish classified information under certain circumstances?
Oh, shit. She in trouble now.
Well, since this is an active investigation, I don't want to comment on it much more than what we did yesterday to obviously confirm the investigation, and I can confirm what the Attorney General stated and the President as well, which is that the individual, unfortunately, a contractor at the Pentagon, chose to unlawfully leak classified and very serious information to this Washington Post reporter. Hence why the reporter's home was looked into by the FBI, rightfully so. And the administration is not going to tolerate leaks, especially from within.
We don't give a fuck. We're going to leak it again. All liberals, leak some more. Leak, leak, leak. Come on, y'all.
And the national security apparatus of the United States government that put our nation's integrity.
Blah, 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 blah. Did she just use the word integrity? I think is that the first time I heard her use that word? She's like, integrity. Integrity? Let me go look that word up. Wait a second. Just to remind myself. Integrity. What does integrity mean? Let's see. The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Is that this administration? Like, Trump, integrity? What? What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you? More gaslighting for you. More gaslighting. It's like she got some nerve using the word integrity. Like, damn. You have to have really low standards to think that she's anything close to having integrity or this administration. I mean, dang, it's crazy.
And our national security at risk.
National security at risk, huh? Yeah, okay. Elon Musk putting Grok. Grok is out there making he's making child porn, and Grok, and they just said, you know what a good idea is? Let's put Grok in the Pentagon. You know what I'm saying? She's talking about national security and shit. You know, the computer that's going to be all up examining the Pentagon shit is a child porn creator. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? The richest man on earth. That's integrity. You're just going to let him in the Pentagon, huh? That's a lot of integrity for you, huh?
The president will not support that. I know the Secretary of War will not support that, and it will not stand. And legal action will be taken against.
So, somebody say Grok isn't a person. Oh, really? Thank you. Wow. Damn, I didn't know that. What the fuck? What the fuck? I know a computer didn't write that. That was some dumb shit from a real human being, yo.
Anyone. Whether it's a member of the press or whether...
Don't worry, you safe. I'm not going to block you.
Whether it's an employee for a federal agency who breaks the law. If you break the law and if you endanger our men and women in uniform, you are going to be held accountable, period, full stop.
But
Jackie.
Does this administration believe that this reporter or any reporter has a right to publish classified information under certain circumstances?
Look,
That's a good question. Under any circumstances, or did he say certain or any?
Has a right to publish classified information under certain circumstances.
Certain circumstances.
Look, I think that we do not believe that individuals who have been given the privilege of holding a top secret clearance should be illegally leaking that classified information, and I know the American people agree with that. And
No. I'm American people, and I agree they should leak every fucking thing all the time. Just leak it all. Fuck it. Anything. Leak it. Yeah. I feel safer when it's leaked.
I think it's a basic tenet of journalistic integrity.
No, that's not a basic tenet of journalistic. You see, like, who the hell? She talking about it's a basic tenet of journalistic integrity. She never heard of undercover journalist and shit. What the hell? I mean, how you gonna break any story and shit? It's like, and you're not leaking anything. It's like, no, I'm not gonna let no secrets out. I gave them my word.
Not to publish information that could directly endanger the operational security or the brave men and women who are serving this country. And
look, somebody said, apparently you never been in the military. Man, loads of Trump supporters celebrated leaks. Did you know how many Trump people that supported Trump in the military leaked? Do you know how many did that? You don't know, apparently. Let me go find that out. Let's see here. That's a good one. I appreciate that. How many people associated with Trump or support Trump or Russia leaked top secret? I mean, Trump, he just took a whole goddamn every top secret document that was existing and brought all that shit to Mar-a-Lago. What the fuck are you talking about? Apparently you never been in the military. Your motherfucking president leaked. Okay? You don't even care about it. He leaked goddamn nuclear secrets right in your face, and you didn't even do anything about it. You just accepted it. You know, this is the hypocrisy of MAGA. You know, it's like the person that they vote for leaked more than any human being is possibly capable of. I mean, Trump walked out of there with files in his asshole and shit, and just like, here it is, here, bring it all in here, everything. And then just when you thought it was over, this motherfucker's pulling papers out of his ass. This motherfucker, he had everything in his jacket and shit. This motherfucker, and these people talking about leaks and journalistic integrity. You gotta do things the right way. It's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? This man took so many goddamn top secret documents, stole them. Most of you don't even have big enough apartments to fit all that shit in. Like, straight up. And you talking about leaks? Like, okay. I'm sorry. You must have some short memories. Like, seriously. You got to work on that. Train your memory a little bit. Now, let's see here. High-profile incidents involving Russia. Donald Trump, 2017 Oval Office meeting. In May 2017, President Trump reportedly disclosed high classified intelligence about an ISIS plot to the Russian foreign minister ambassador. The intelligence was also so sensitive it was provided by an ally, Israel, and had not been shared with other U.S. partners. What do you think about that, motherfucker? Your own president leaked right in your face and you don't even give a fuck. Caroline Levitt, your boss, leaked on day one. Who are you to preach to a journalist about having integrity, or any human being? No human being. You should never use that word with any human being ever again, because you have no integrity yourself. Okay? You think people are stupid? Next, George Papadopoulos, a former campaign advisor with your boss, okay, was sentenced to prison for lying to the FBI about his contact with Russian agents. He had been told by a Russian-linked professor that Russia had dirt on Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of emails. He leaked that. Yeah. Did you know that? Yeah. Michael Flynn, Trump's first national security advisor, resigned after it was revealed he had misled the vice president about his conversations with Russian ambassador regarding U.S. sanctions. Two leaks and disclosures. Most recently, several figures have been involved in high-profile unauthorized disclosures. The Signal group chat leaks. Anybody remember that? Signal? I mean, that wasn't even long ago, and they just forgot all about that shit. Caroline Levitt just forgot. She's just out there telling people about leaks and shit and journalists. I mean, come on, lady. Goddamn. Goddamn. I mean, people don't remember the goddamn the goddamn Signal chat leaks. That don't count for nothing. Remember, they was bombing. They was about to bomb the Yemen, and your homeboy had a whole bunch of people, including reporters, all up in the Signal app that they were told by the military to not use on day one. And for some reason, they did the exact, and that's for you, the person is like, I can tell you never been in the military. Well, I could tell, what's this guy, Pete Kegbreath has never been in the military either, because he just disobeyed a direct fucking order and just said, you know what I'm going to do today? They told me don't use Signal chat because it's vulnerable to Russia and China. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking use Signal chat. Yo, and then went in there and invited a whole bunch of people and just told them all about the fucking operation. You see what I mean? So this is like, she's out here talking about leaks. Listen to her. Let's hear.
Who have been given the privilege of holding a
men and women in uniform. Look at that. Been given the privilege. Gaslighting. You have no experience, lady. You have been given the privilege. What's her background? What fucking background she got? How did she get this job?
You are going to be held accountable, period, full stop. Jack.
What about Pete Kegbreath? Is he going to be held accountable for the leaks? Nope.
Does this administration believe that this reporter or any reporter has a right to publish classified information?
You don't love Trump. A computer can't have feelings of love.
Under certain circumstances.
Look, I think that we do not believe that.
Is Grok up in this chat? Grok, get the fuck out the chat, Grok. How many profiles you got, Grok?
Individuals who have been given the privilege of holding a top secret clearance should be illegally leaking that classified information, and I know the American people agree with that. And I think it's a basic tenet of journalistic integrity not to publish information that could directly endanger the operational security or the brave men and women who are serving this country in uniform and putting themselves in harm's way to protect not just the people of this administration, but all of you in the press and all of their fellow Americans as well.
That's Jackie, a goddamn lie. That's a goddamn lie. They took off people who died for their country. They removed their pictures from the military because of their skin color, their gender, literally. And she's talking about these people are here to protect you. No, you actually do not stand up for Americans. Hold on, let me see something. I can see somebody spamming the chat now. Hold on. Let me do this. Boom. There you go. Have something interesting to say. The one-liners don't work. Trump, 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 Trump. Yo, that's ignorant, man. Stop doing that. Say something. Say your real feelings, Say your real feelings. Go ahead. You don't have to agree with me, but say something. If I asked you what do you want from the Republicans with law outside of trans people not using the bathroom and immigrants, outside of those two things, if I ask you what else do you want, say what you want. Say something. Use your brain. Be in the conversation. Be in the conversation. Be in the conversation. What do you want? What else besides no trans people using the toilet, the same toilet as a woman or whatever they are, trans men and trans women, whatever, and immigrants. Besides that, what else do you want from your government? What else do you want from your government? Holding yourself accountable for fraud in Minnesota, that's done across the country. What are you talking about? Those people were already arrested and prosecuted. It's not like Trump prosecuted them. You crazy. You nuts. Those people were already prosecuted. What you allowed Trump to do was try to find an issue to hold over your head and go back into time with some people that had already been prosecuted and then say, see here, and you believed it. You see? So, yeah, they were. All that shit was rehashed. It had already passed. They'd already been prosecuted. The person was an American citizen it was a woman that was in charge of the whole scam. You didn't know that, did you? No, because Trump doesn't tell people that part. But yeah. In any case, that's facts. But here, let's hear some more.
I wanted to get the White House reaction to Iranian state TV broadcasting an implicit threat to the president's life. It was.
Do you want the Epstein files released? Do you want that from the Trump administration? Do you want that from the Republicans? If you want the Republicans and Trump to release the Epstein files now with no more delay, put a 1 in the chat and state if you're a Trump supporter or not. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't, and you're probably a Trump supporter if you put a 2. You see all the other, yeah, you see they don't want that though. They don't want that from their own president. Isn't that crazy? That's wild. They don't actually want it. Yeah, they don't. I want it. That's what I mean. If I was a Republican, he ran on that. He didn't even give it to them though. You know? He didn't even give it to their ass. You see that? And this is another thing about being a cold sucker. You know, when you vote for someone and they don't give you what you asked for. You see what I mean? And then when you ask them, what do you want? They don't even say nothing. It's like they forgot. They don't want trans people in the toilets, and they don't want immigrants. Outside of that, they don't care about anything else. There's nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. They don't want anything else. So let's continue.
Of the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, according to reports, with the message, "This time it will not go wrong."
I have not seen that, to be honest with you, Jackie. We'll take a look, and I'll let the president and his national security team examine that footage to ensure its legitimacy. Again, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. What I will say with respect to Iran is that the president and his team have communicated to the Iranian regime that if the killing continues, there will be grave consequences. And the president received a message, as he revealed to all of you and the whole world yesterday, that the killing and the executions will stop. And the president understands today that 800 executions that were scheduled and supposed to take place yesterday were halted. And so the president and his team are closely monitoring this situation, and all options remain on the table for the president.
Netanyahu encouraged him against strikes.
Look, it's true that the president spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu, but I would never details about their conversation without giving the expressed approval by the president himself.
Thank you, Caroline. Is it still the president's assessment that it would be very hard for Ms. Machado to leave Venezuela because he said
Salty in Alaska? How much is your health care a month? What health care provider do you have, Salty in Alaska? 79.
she lacks the respect and support in that country? And will he raise that with her today?
I think the president's assessment
yeah, where did the maggots go?
that you just pointed out was based on realities on the ground. It was a realistic assessment based on
Look, listen to this. Look, this is crazy. This is crazy. Look, look at the poll. This poll is stupid funny. Look at this. Is Trump trying to cancel or obstruct the 2026 midterms? Absolutely indeterminate, 52%. No. Why would he do that? 48%. No, why would he do that? Yeah, okay.
what the president was reading and hearing from his advisors and national security team. And at this moment in time, his opinion on that matter has not changed.
His opinion on that matter has not changed. I mean, anyway, next. Sorry about that. Got to get through this Caroline Levitt shit. Let's just get to the points because, you know, no point in waiting to see the rest of this. It's, you know, yeah. She's just it's all bullshit coming from her anyway. But so let's just get to highlights.
There was yet
now.
Another incredible, as in not at all credible, press briefing at the White House. And normally, when I talk about the White House press briefings and answer questions, I normally don't play what Trump's White House press secretary.
Caroline Levitt got the rumor is she got gender affirming surgery on her lips to make her look more attractive.
Secretary Caroline Levitt
More like an attractive woman to some, I guess it would say that.
Says, because most of what she says is not worth repeating, and I'm not trying to give a platform. But today was an
is that attractive on women? You know, is that something in there? It's some women. Look, there's women that get butt lifts. There's women that get breast operations, right? That's also gender affirming. There's There's man, they got all kinds of crazy shit for guys, man. I'm gonna tell you, I don't fuck with none of it myself. I just have to be honest. I'm totally scared of things like that. I don't like anything. I don't like anything. I don't even like a damn needle. I don't like to go to I don't like to have blood drawn, although I do it because of course you need tests and things like that for your health. You know, that's the best way to make sure that you don't carry illnesses. You know what I mean? A blood test, you know what I'm saying? Cancer and things like that today is necessary, you know, to get blood tests frequently, you know, maybe once or twice a year. You see what I mean? It's good. High blood pressure, everything, right? But there's people that get a lot of plastic surgery now, and a lot of the plastic surgery is gender affirming, you know? Yeah, but in any case, yeah.
Take a listen to her response to this question from the Daily Mail's John Michael Raish.
President Trump has talked twice in recent days, once at the Kennedy Center and then to Reuters again last night about canceling the election. Why is he talking about this?
I believe you're referring to the president's interview at Reuters last night. I was in that interview. It was a closed-door interview. Obviously, there was not audio or video. The president was simply joking.
Joking?
I don't know about you, but I find the sitting president of the United States joking about canceling the next elections absolutely hilarious.
So,
absolutely.
Is that a joke? Is that a joke? Is it a joke? Put a 1 in the chat if the president was joking. Put a 2 in the chat if he wasn't joking. I just want to see who does that, because, you know, a lot of people love Trump, but then, you know, you find out what the answers are afterwards. It's good to know and qualify what comes along with being a Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying? Like, was he joking? Put a 1 in the chat if he was joking. Put a 2 in the chat if he wasn't. Okay. Yeah. Pew. Put a 1 in the chat if he was joking. Put a 2 in the chat if he wasn't. That comment, he said he want to cancel the elections, right? So, yeah, Trump got the Nobel Peace Prize. He got it the corrupt way, you know? He got it the corrupt way. He didn't earn it. You know what I'm saying? He stole it from somebody. He shook somebody down for it, coerced someone for his. That's the first time in history a fucking Nobel Peace Prize has been coerced. That's crazy, you know? I mean, why would you take a Nobel Peace Prize from anybody? Why would you even accept it if it's not given to you by the... What the fuck is that? Next thing you know, he gonna want people to give them their fucking soccer trophies and shit. Kids, here you go, President Trump. Keep mine. Keep my soccer trophy. Here you go.
Just joking there. Now, the reason, of course, I'm clearly kidding, that this is, of course, alarming and not funny at all.
Yeah, he wasn't joking at all. He has a fucking motive, and the whole Republican Party got a motive. Elon Musk got a motive. Peter Thiel got a motive. You know, but Elon Musk is going to throw a whole lot of money down to make sure that election don't happen.
That Trump keeps bringing up his desire to cancel the midterm elections. And he's doing things to try to make it harder for people to vote. Effectively, he's trying to end our nation's democratic experiment altogether. But the real reason I wanted to play that is because when Andrew Feinberg from The Independent presses her on the issue again, she just attacks him personally.
Do me a favor, click the like button, y'all. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. I appreciate it. But click the like button. If you're watching on TV, pick up the remote, click the like button for me. I appreciate it. It's what allows more people to come into the stream.
Personally, instead of answering his question.
Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy, for this democracy. Are you saying...
Look at her face. She's so goddamn annoyed. Look at this. Look at what he's saying, and look at that face. You hear what he's saying? He's like, Americans have died for this country, and look at her. It's like she's just tired of hearing that. You know, it's so inconvenient. Like nobody else gets to say that. You see what I mean? No one else gets to say they died for the country, contributed to the country. It doesn't matter. You know, these people literally went around removing images of people that died for the country because of their color, because of their background, their gender, right? And other things and you know, this is her administration, you know. Now, has she died for this country? No. Has Trump died for the country? Has Trump been in the military? No. Has she been in the military? No. You know, so I don't see why she would be dissing anybody's service. You know, I don't see why she would be dissing anyone's service. You know, why would you diss somebody's service if they're a Republican or Democrat and they served to protect the country? Why would you not honor that? Let me ask you a question. Does it matter to you in the chat if somebody's a Republican or Democrat that served their country, or independent or otherwise, Muslim, Jew, gay, straight? What does any of that matter? Put a 1 in the chat if that matters to you. Put a 2 in the chat if it doesn't, and you'll just honor that fact. I'm just curious. Yeah, does it matter to you? If it matters to you, put a 1 in the chat. If it doesn't, put a 2 in the chat. Yeah, for me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for me. I'm not that. I believe some people of any party have integrity. So, especially in situations like that in the military, that's a different situation. You know, you have to fight no matter who the president is. Don't you realize that? So the fact that you fought, even though the president was from a different party, don't you think you should be respected? You know, like, seriously, that's what I think. Like, isn't that the logical way to go about it? Isn't that? I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know. Some of these people I see in the chat, they don't get that. They're so partisan. It's like they haven't even thought their way through these things before they make a judgment. You know, and I think bigotry is a lot like that. You know what I mean? Works a lot that way. A lot of people never even really think practically about, you know, the context of these things, you know. But in any case, here's Caroline Levitt. Look at her face. You say in the military, do you think? And she's just like, another fucking liberal gave his life. That's not special. What is that? That's nothing.
Feinberg from the
Why are you asking me?
Independent presses her on the issue again. She just attacks him personally instead of answering his question.
Look, somebody said you talk too much. Okay, why are you here then? Why are you here? Why are you here? You came all the way over here. You didn't know I talked too much? Damn, I'm gonna have to talk some more if that's what got you in here. What's up, Bubba? Got you, man. Hey, Speed DNC, man. Speed DNC. Way to go, bro. Yeah. Come on in, man.
Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy, for this democracy.
Talk. Thank you for showing up, man.
Are you saying that the president...
You gonna reply? You gonna talk back? Come on, talk, man.
President finds the idea of canceling elections funny?
Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation, and only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose it as a question in that way.
Look, were you in the room? I wasn't. I mean, you weren't. La, la, la. Wow, that's deep.
I mean, I think a lot of people...
So she's saying he wasn't serious. She's saying Trump was not serious about canceling the election. Everybody heard that, right? Everybody heard that, right? Look, somebody said this. Hold on. Look, I'm gonna let you know what white man from town said. And again, you don't know if the person is white. You don't know anything about the identity. There's no way to know, right? Because this is the internet. But he puts that name out there so you can assume that this is a white person saying this, right? So I just want to caution you on what he wrote. You can't see the comment, right? But the comment says, being a warrior is more than being a stunning and brave cross-dressing creep. But we know you love seeing a dude face in your junk. But actually, no, I don't, man. No, that's not correct at all. But here's the thing, man. I'm not worried about things I don't deal with myself. So I'm really curious why you care about cross-dressers, but why are you around cross-dressers? Do you hang around cross-dressers to where it bothers you? Because it don't bother me because they ain't around me. Where are they? Where are they at? And if I saw 100 women, beautiful women, and I saw one cross-dresser, would I focus on the one cross-dresser or the 100 women? I'm a heterosexual man. What the fuck you think I'm going to be focusing on? You see, and that's the weird part about it. Like, why does it bother you? Why are you so bothered? Like, if your shit is straight with the ladies, why are you so bothered, bro? That's what I don't get. If your shit is straight, why are you so bothered about somebody else? Why do you look at things you're not attracted to? I don't get that. But listen, this is White Man from in Town that wrote that. And so what I'm going to do now, because this person's not serious, right? The person's not serious. And you can see they're in a place where they don't want to contribute something intelligent. So there you go, White Man from in Town. Again, can't confirm if he's actually quote unquote white, because that's such a generic ass term. What does that mean? He's white. Okay. Yeah. What kind of white? You white cracker in a trailer park? Where are you? You uptown living in a mansion like Trump? Which one are you? You got your front teeth missing, or do you smoking meth? What are you, man? Just let me know. I have no idea. You working with Elon Musk? Apparently not. You ain't working with Trump. You're not that rich because you in this chat. I mean, it ain't. Is there anybody that's a billionaire up in here? I don't know, millionaires. I'm just saying it might be a millionaire in here, but a million is not that much anymore. So, hey, somebody in there. I don't know. Maybe that's Grok. Trying to slide in and shit with a color. What a generic ass name too. How can I divide people? I know. Let me. My name is Black Ass V Media. How about that? Black Man Media. Black Man. That's what I do. But then I'm gonna go around and say a whole bunch of racist shit to piss people off, so they be like, "Damn, man, you see that black guy in the chat? Yeah, black man that hates whitey media." Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's go.
Take the President of the United States threatening to cancel elections pretty seriously, especially given he repeats it and has said it many times.
That was the opposite. I was trying to give you my opposite of White Man from Town impression. Black man that hates whitey. That's my tag.
Okay. Today, Levitt got the very first question of the briefing to none other than anti-trans activist Riley Gaines. In a room where every seat is coveted, the White House gave her two, and those are kind of special seats on the side where normally the staff sits.
You know what I found very interesting? Is there is a phenomenon out there. People that think that they're perfect, that have these really ideas about a lot of other people, judge a lot of other people. Sometimes when they have children, they will have a children that's maybe handicapped or something, or have another issue, or that child himself might turn out to be that way. Did you know that? Like, wild stuff like that happens. You know why? Because people ain't perfect. You could be judging someone else and not even be aware of what's inside of your own, system. You see what I mean? Like, and yeah. It's crazy, but listen, when I saw this baby, I just started thinking there's no way. When you have a child, there's no way of knowing how their health is going to be. And a lot of people that think they're perfect, they find out through having a child that they're not.
One for her and one for her husband so we could show Levitt their baby. And everybody loves a baby. But again,
it's bad karma to judge people. It's bad karma to judge people.
It's a little absurd, this whole thing. There were some real journalists, though, asking important questions in that room today, and Caroline Levitt, of course, did not answer them. So I'm going to take a crack at a few of those. There were a lot of questions, of course, about ICE today. So I'm going to start with one of those. Nandita Bose from Reuters, go ahead.
There have been multiple instances of American citizens being detained by ICE, and I'm wondering what the administration is asking the agency to do. What steps is the administration asking the agency to take to ensure that Americans are not wrongly arrested?
Nandita, I hate to break it to you, but the truth is that the Trump administration is doing nothing to prevent U.S. citizens from being detained by ICE. In fact, today the ACLU filed a class action lawsuit against the Trump administration, alleging that ICE isn't just detaining U.S. citizens, they are racially profiling.
Oh, yeah, they're totally racially profiling. It's all about discrimination. If it's not race, it's something else. Because race is a kind of contentious term, you know what I mean? But it's looks, right? Obviously. How you look is in the way that that individual doesn't want to be around people like that. That individual thinks someone's color is the problem, so they seek out people that have a different color than them and try to make that the problem, you know. But it's racial profiling, and it's pathetic, you know. Listen, people that are prejudiced, they don't tend to be too smart. They don't tend to be too smart, you know. And it's sad that we still have this kind of issue in the U.S., that we haven't gotten past it, haven't done enough work on it, haven't had enough real discussions about it so people can move on and people can come past it, you know. But yeah, this is what we got right now until we learn how to do better and get real about shit. I mean, you know, I think it's really good for people to, I looked at this list. Look at this list. Like, let me bring this up. Going back to that ICE. I'm glad they brought up ICE here. Let me see something. Articles, right? Look at this. Check this out. You see this list right here? Y'all can't see that list, right? Here we go. Look at this list. Do you see the names on this? These are ICE agents. These are ICE agents' names. Right? And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. This is just one. This is 200 out of 1,500 names, right? And this is just the A's. Look, you can't see that. Can you see that? This is just the A's, right? But if you look through this, right, these A's, let me take my picture off here real quick. I can see it's still coming up. Right, articles. Here we go. Now, if you just look here, look at their names. These are you don't know if these are the people doing racial profiling, but just an example, like, these are a lot of diverse people. These names, look at the people that work for ICE. Look at these names. You know, I'm sorry, but I'm very American myself. I have very typical American name, you know. My name is English descent, and yeah, it's English descent. My name is English descent, you know. And when I look at these names, I know for a fact that a lot of these people are immigrants. They have immigrant background. Not all of them. Now, I mean, all Americans outside of Native Americans come from somewhere else, right? But and they have specific names, Native Americans, right? Unless they were put into slavery in the United States or something like that, right? African Americans have very English names and American names, European names, because we were in slavery, right? But if you look at these names, a lot of these names have nothing to do with that, because you can study the names and know the period that most of these names entered into the Americas, like, really. So, but there's a lot of them you could see on here are very, very immigrant, very, very new immigrant, not old immigrant, not, you can see that. And it just stands out to me, like, why, how could that be this way when, at the same time, the very organization itself seems to be racially profiling people. Look, one guy's name is Bible and shit. Look at his name, Balakia. Look at this, Jill Balakia. Let's just take a look at this, for example. They don't have a picture, but this is one of the names. She's a supervisor, active. You see that? Documented. Look, let's just take a look, for example. Evidence and sources. Damn, I don't even want to open that up. But okay, let me see. Documented. Let me see. Notes. Okay, so this is just one of the names released. They don't know. I don't want to look at that LinkedIn account, but this is here. Now, let's just go back. That's just to give you an idea. Bezdikian. Let's look at that one. NYC field office, right? NYC field office on this one. Supervisor, special agent, right? I mean, to me, it just makes me wonder, like, why are people that, what are they basing their Americanness on? What are they basing their Americanness on? Like, and this is how because look, there's a lot of, I've been saying this before, there's a lot of immigrants in the United States. How do you know who's an immigrant based on their color? How do you know that? And of course we did see, like I showed a story where they did arrest a white woman from Canada, quote unquote, a person that could fall under that category, right? Not saying that she identifies that way, right? She might not identify that way, but they locked her up. I don't know why that was, but typically what we're seeing is a lot of racial profiling, and they're admitting to it. I mean, even Kavanaugh's ruling was based on look and sounding like an immigrant, something, you see what I mean? Like, so it just makes me wonder, why do you have so many immigrants in your organization and having these kind of feelings also at the same time? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And look, I saw a black guy in there. The black guy, I'm going to tell you something. To me, he also looked like an immigrant. Because, you get used to seeing different. I mean, there's subtleties. There's subtleties that sometimes you could pick up with different people, right? And this guy, I mean, and I told people this. Look, you don't know if some of the people working for ICE have dual citizenship. You don't know that because that's not something that bars them from working. Did you know that? Now, let me ask you a question. As a matter of fact, you can do this in the chat. How many of you oppose people with dual citizenship working for ICE? If you oppose it, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't oppose it, put a 2 in the chat. I'm just curious about that. Like, and the reason why I thought about this is because, for me, I'm not a dual citizen. Even though I live in Denmark, I don't have 2 citizenships. I'm an American citizen that lives in Denmark. There's a lot of people like that. Tyler, what's up? There you go. Taylor, sorry about that. What's up? So when I go in my own country, I would be kind of offended because, both of my family members both the sides of my family go back to the colonial period. So I wouldn't know how to take that really being checked by somebody challenging my citizenship, challenging who I am, challenging my ethnicity when their family ain't even been in the country that long. I would feel kind of weird, or even having a dual citizenship. Like, listen, how do I like living in Denmark? I love it, man. I love living in Denmark. I don't even know how to take Elon Musk having 3 citizenships and being up inside the Pentagon. I don't know how people trust that. I don't know how MAGA people trust that. But they think that they're the ones that's worried about immigrants, but they're not worried about Elon Musk. So again, there's a lot of hypocrisy in this. Somebody said, so you moved to another white country? Got it. Well, if you want to define the world, things in that terms, you know what I'm saying? Anything wrong with that? Where do you think I should be? Alam, where do you think I belong? I want to hear about this. Alama, where do you think I belong? What's the corner of the earth I should be in according to you? What's up, Alam? Don't get shy, man. Let me know your feelings. Let everybody know your feelings. What part of the world do you think I should be in? Where's my corner? See, Alam, I think Alam, man, you kind of lame. If you're a dude or if you're a lady, you're lame, because for me, I go anywhere I want to go. I don't restrict myself to where I can go, I actually, if you're American, live in America. Well, you said you went from one white country to another. I'm curious about that because. So you moved to another white country. Is America a white country? No, America is not a white continent. Isn't that one of the reasons why you people are getting pissed off? People are getting pissed off because they're saying, "Oh, you will not replace us." How could someone replace you if it's, if it was a white country, you wouldn't even be saying shit like that. You will not replace us. But in any case, listen. I don't think you understand how this works. You, as an American, just like a lot of people live in the U.S. What are you talking about, man? So you don't want any foreigners in the U.S. Is that what you're saying? You don't want anybody that's not an American citizen living in the U.S. Alam? Is that what you're saying? I mean, I'm just curious. I'm curious about that. Alam, you don't want anyone that's not American citizen living in the United States of America? Is that what you're saying? Well, so you just want people to come to America legally. Well, I came to Denmark legally. So what's your issue? Why are you trying to tell me where I'm supposed to be? Why don't you mind your motherfucking business? You mind your business, motherfucker. Okay, how about that? How about you go where you go and be happy with that? Can you respect that? Can you respect the freedom to go where you want to go yourself? Isn't that what you want people to do, to respect where you go? Why would you go there legally? Why would you live in the U.S. legally? Why would you be there legally? I don't know. What are you talking about? Why would I go legally? Why wouldn't I go legally? I've been to a lot of places. What are you talking about? You never been anywhere outside of the U.S.? Is that what you're saying? What kind of name is that? That don't even sound like an American name. Alam. That doesn't sound ethnic American. You never been anywhere. So we dealing with a person that's never been any goddamn where. Okay, well, here we go, buddy. Yeah. I'm going to let you hang around so you can learn something. But for today, your ass is out of here because you real dumb. You're going to have to listen. You can't participate. You're going to be on child level, okay? You get to listen now and learn something. What the fuck? This dude never been anywhere, no. I don't even need to ask, do you have a passport? The answer is no, I don't. Never had one, ain't going to get one. Don't want one. Why would I leave? I should have asked, what state you from? What town are you from? I should have asked him that, but this is too much. You know what I'm saying? He sound like he got some issues, he got some issues. But in any case, yeah. Again, the world is watching. The world is watching. There you at. Hold on, Stacy. Where's Stacy's ass at? Stacy, wow, you got off the plantation and you're crying? I'm not. Do I sound like I'm crying? What the hell? Damn. Is that a robot? This must be one of those Grok trying to play like a lady. That's a computer. Okay. See you later, Stacy. Get your computer Grok ass out of here. Yeah, it's kind of generic comments. You know what I'm saying? I got her. Yeah. In any case, let's go. Because, when they use the plantation thing, that's supposed to be like, this is the most triggering. I know what I think of. How do I do with a black person? I'll say plantation. That'll really get under their skin. I got it. It's like, nah, man. Nah, sorry. That don't work with me. It ain't that easy with me, motherfucker. I ain't got no problem talking about plantation or anything. But the problem is are you on a plantation? That's the problem. That shit could be flipped around. Like, are you on a plantation? Like, who's your healthcare provider? What state do you live in? You know what I'm saying?
To specific cases of multiple U.S. citizens who say they were unlawfully detained by ICE despite repeatedly stating that they were citizens.
Yeah, tell her.
It's the
tell
same
her
thing.
that shit ain't gonna get me. Tell her. You know what I'm saying? I know how to be. I could be the cruelest motherfucker on earth if I want to be. But look, we're not here to do that. You see what I mean? We're not here to do that. But we could listen, there are some, I don't think there's, I think every black person on earth knows, or black American knows, that anytime somebody else brings up plantation, that is like, how can I say this? That is they're not too bright, because we figured out that people say that when they have nothing else to say. You see what I mean? When they have nothing else to say, that's what they say. And I tell you what, at least one thing you know for sure, that if you consider me as having anything to do with a plantation in the United States of America, then you know I'm a real motherfucking American. You know my family go back some generations then, okay? At least you know that, motherfucker. And you're right to associate it. But you see, I didn't let that limit me. I didn't let that make me hate the world and hate other people. I didn't let that limit myself. And I'm not ashamed of that history in my family either. You see what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, my great-grandmother was born on a slave plantation. I'm 55 years old, so my great-grandmother, she died when she was 99. You know what I mean? And I remember her when I was young, when I was a young kid. You know what I mean? She was a sweet lady, very sweet lady, caring lady. You know what I mean? Loved all her grandkids. She had a lot of grandkids too. And, you know, so, but my family was fly as a motherfucker though. You see what I'm saying? She went to church on Sunday with her best clothes on. You know what I'm saying? She had everything she needed. She had everything. Everybody made sure my great grandmother had it well. You see what I mean? A very dignified life. You see what I mean? So you ain't really going to get under my skin like that. I'm proud of who I am, but I also don't limit myself. You see what I'm saying? I also know I'm a human like everybody else. Everybody has these stories in some way.
City after ice floods the streets.
In some way, shape, or form, people have stories like that in their family history. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. Everybody does. If you're a real human being, you have stories like that. Look, we could talk about Ukraine. Ukraine has a history of serfdom, right? Being serfs for another group, you know, in that region of the world. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that fought to get out of that stuff. That's part of their history that Slava Ukraine, exactly, that they remember, that's in their back of their minds based on their history. You see what I mean? And so, you know, in some kind of way, to be honest with you, the plantation is something a lot of people around the globe can identify with and have stories about their own families in different ways. You see what I mean? So I'm not a stupid ass. So I get that. So I don't need that to poke at somebody. That's not what I say to make somebody feel bad. You see what I'm saying? Nah, that makes you a real motherfucker. That makes you a real human being. That's what that does. You see what I mean? So, yeah, Ukrainians are true warriors. Exactly. You see what I mean? Yo, you trying to tell me you come from a history of people that don't come through trial and tribulation, that don't have stories of glory, breaking through the ice, breaking through the oppression? You trying to tell me you don't have that history? Because, wow, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Because I know a lot of people around the world that have histories like that and are proud of it. Like, wow, that's, anyway, yeah. So any case, y'all, we got time.
Administration seems completely.
Yeah, do me a favor, click the like button. You know, people try to make us divide. And again, that's that MAGA stuff again. You know, this is what we're talking about. This thing where, and I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm tired. For me, like that stuff is just for losers. That's for losers, man. Again, bag lady or bag man, you going to break your back dragging all those bags like that. You see what I mean? Because you don't control all of that. You don't control, but what you can control is what you do with your time in your life. That's what you can do. You see what I mean? Like, stop worrying about somebody else. Don't stop carrying somebody else's baggage all up in your mind and shit. You see what I mean? Like, you know, worry about your own shit. You know what I mean? And learn how to not let it hold you down. You see what I mean? And a lot of those bigots, they let bigotry hold them down, man, from seeing the world, taking advantage of their opportunities, you know, separating, being over judgmental of other people. And I'm going to tell you, I've been a lot of places. I'm talking about, and I've been all over the United States of America too. And I've been in some places in America outside of the United States in America also. And I've been in a lot of places in Europe. And I'm going to tell you, even just when I was a young man, I'm a people person. You see what I mean? So I know a lot of people. I've learned a lot from a lot of people. And I'm just saying, you know, don't waste your time being bigoted. Don't waste your time judging, thinking that all people are one type of thing. No, every group of people has different people in it. You see what I mean? So when you try to judge people like that, you miss other people that are just like you, that's waiting for you when you judge people that way. You see what I mean? So, yeah, so it's just stupidity, man. It's just stupidity.
Be fine with that. Now, today there were also a lot of questions about the supposed health care plan that Trump unveiled. I've already talked about that a little bit.
Damn, this is some shit talking here. Health care plan. Trump want to talk some shit today.
So I'm just going to take a crack at one of those. Mary Bruce, ABC, go ahead.
Somebody wrote, Trump and Ivana need to get back together again. Yep.
20 million Americans in recent weeks have seen their health care costs soar. Can he assure them that if this plan is put in place, that they will be able to cover those costs?
No, of course he can't. Because, Mary, this is the plan, the whole thing. One page of it is just Trump saying the great healthcare plan. That's what they're calling it, as if that deems it true. I mean, that's it. This is the whole plan right here. The other page.
It's one page. It's one page. That is crazy.
Now, way back in Trump's 2016 campaign, he...
Oh, thanks, Dylan. I appreciate that, man.
Promised that he would repeal and replace Obamacare on day one. In 2020, he said that he would unveil his health care plan in 2 weeks. In a presidential debate with Kamala Harris in 2024, Trump said he had concepts of a plan. Now, today, Trump is claiming he has a framework of a plan. And this is it. This thing I just showed you. And if he really, the thing is, this is the sad thing. Much of it is sad. But if he really wanted to do something that could have an impact, he could work to extend the Obamacare subsidy premiums. Because right now, 1.4 million Americans have already dropped their health care plans because they can't afford it anymore. And
he doesn't even care. They don't even care. And if you ask the MAGA people, that's how you know a lot of these trolls, man, they coming from other countries. You know, these are not real Americans. I don't even think a lot of MAGA people are not concerned anymore about healthcare. You know, that's why I like to ask questions and get people to put the ones and the twos in the chat, because then I can kind of analyze the remarks. Like I can kind of get a feel for, is this a real person? Is this a real American person? Sometimes it could be a real person and not be an American person. It could be somebody from another country pretending to be American. So when you ask them, what do you want? What are the issues you want? They can't tell you. You see what I mean?
And that number...
Yeah, he's still working on plans. He got plans of a plan. That's exactly right, Vision.
...is going to grow. Okay, final question. The other big topic of interest today at the press briefing, of course, was Venezuela. Because today Trump met, as I talked about earlier, with Venezuelan opposition leader and Nobel Peace Prize winner...
boycott FIFA.
Maria Machado. Many believed she was at the White House to push President Trump to support a democratic process in Venezuela, which Trump has not prioritized so far at all. So the press naturally had lots of questions. Weijia Zhang.
She gave this is the most bizarre shit on earth, but this is where we at.
CBS News.
Is it still the president's assessment that it would be very hard for Ms. Machado to leave Venezuela because he says she lacks the respect and support in that country? And will he raise that with her today?
Well, I'm not sure what he raised or what his assessment is, but I mean, I think her chances of having Trump's support likely just got a heck of a lot better because, of course, today she gave Trump her Nobel Peace Prize. She gave him the literal...
Yeah, she's the opposition leader. She's the opposition leader. She was voided by Maduro from even participating in the last election, but everyone pretty much knows that that's why the other guy won the election. Maduro didn't even win. The other guy won, but in truth, the other guy, he wouldn't even be running if she wasn't barred from running.
Medal. But a big question I have is whether Trump even has that power. given he's locked arms already with Delcy Rodriguez, one dictator for another right there.
Yeah. And then exactly. So she actually gave the man her Nobel Peace Prize. And that is the most bizarre shit of all. How do you give somebody a peace prize? Like, that's not yours, right? Or it is yours, but how do you give it to a person that didn't do anything for it? Like, that's not even the whole idea. You give a peace prize to someone who earned it, right? It's for a specific person. And in here, she knows Trump is a narcissist, right? So she thinks that, okay, if I give him the peace prize, that will help me, help my country, right? So she literally goes there because she hears that this guy thinks he's the ruler of her country. So she gives him the prize thinking that, okay, I will just ask him, please don't bomb my country anymore. Please don't attack my country, you know? And she gives him the prize and dude accepts it. But he doesn't promote her to be the president.
The medal of the Nobel Peace Prize, and I told him this, listen to this. 200 years ago, General Lafayette gave Simón Bolívar a medal with George Washington's face on it. Bolívar since then kept that medal.
I would have gave it to her, though. I think she's the smarter one for giving it to him because she knows he's a fool and he's on the global stage. You know what I mean? The prize is nothing to her. It's her country that matters to her, right? So giving him the prize, for her, the prize is, she's happy to have the prize. She's honored that she got it. But in truth, it's just a material trophy. If he wants the prize and he thinks that prize is more important to him, right? If it could help her country any way, shape, or form, even if it doesn't help her, she would do it. I don't think that makes her look bad. That's chess. Yeah, exactly.
For the rest of
and Trump, just like the checkers playing asshole he is, he just took it and took a picture with her. Ha! Now later he's thinking, what do I have to? Should I be doing something for her, or do I owe her anything? What's the right thing to do? He don't even know the right thing to do, but he took that damn prize.
his life.
Trump don't give a damn.
We don't know yet what the president's reaction was to that gift. We do know he wanted the prize himself. We should note the Nobel Committee has made clear the Peace Prize cannot be shared or transferred after it is awarded by the Nobel Committee. The meeting comes as the White House.
And Trump is so stupid. He's probably like, what? What are you? He's more worried about showing that yes, it can be transferred. It's mine now. He's not even thinking about anything else. It's mine. Narcissist.
Says Trump stands by his assertion that Machado does not have the support necessary to lead Venezuela. Just yesterday, the president called Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, of course, Nicolas Maduro's former vice president, a terrific person following a phone call. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the current Venezuelan government has been extremely cooperative.
Hey, yo, I'm going to read you guys a message from somebody named Jacques So What 36080. Now, this is a computer. This is a troll or, this is probably a troll. This is his comment. Look, I'm just here laughing at the triggered ghetto rats. LOL, LOL, LOL. So you sound like you upset if you lost your snap. LOL. That's the kind of trolls we got in here. But the thing about it is that you can tell it's either a person that doesn't speak English too well, right? Maybe doesn't understand English, what's being said too well, or it's a computer, because listen, I don't have Snap because I don't live in the U.S. So I don't get it. I don't get it. It's crazy.
Secretary Rubio and the administration have been in constant communication with Ms. Rodriguez and other members of the interim government in Venezuela. They have been extremely cooperative. They have thus far met all of the demands and requests of the United States and of the president.
In Caracas, Delcy Rodriguez delivered her State of the Nation address. She urged her country to wage a diplomatic battle with the U.S., saying, quote, "If I ever have to go to Washington as acting president, I will do so standing tall, walking, and not crawling." Kristen Holmes is live at the White House.
Damn, that's a strong comment right there.
Kristen, is it clear to you what the next steps are for Venezuela? If Trump is still saying Machado doesn't have the support and that he likes Delcy Rodriguez, seems like they're happy with the status quo for now?
I hear you, David.
Well, for now, certainly. I mean, we know one of the things that President Trump and the administration was trying to focus on.
David, it's not safe right now. David says reputation ruined. Love vacationing there. Love U.S. people, but ain't buying trade or planning on vacationing there for a long time. I understand you. It's not safe there. Don't go there right now, David. My advice is don't go, because it is dangerous, and the country is in a situation right now. It's a lot of upheaval, and it's not safe. It's not safe. Country's not safe. You know, these ICE people, if you're not American, these ICE people, even if you are American, they can do anything to you. There's no law in the U.S. right now, man. Everybody's on pins and needles because of this Justice Department is totally corrupt. So that means the FBI, the DOJ, you know, any situation you have, you know, you're not guaranteed that you're going to be treated fairly at all, you know. So my advice to everybody is do not go to the United States of America right now. Like, just don't go.
With stability in the administration in Venezuela. That's part of the reason that they kind of turned their focus to Rodriguez after the capture, actually before the capture of Maduro, for this idea that, one, they could have her in place and then put the screws to her. We know that they've kept the Armada that is in the Caribbean with essentially weapons pointed at Venezuela just off the coast. We know that we've kept sanctions, or at least some of them, in place. These are all forms of negotiating tactics to put the screws to Rodriguez to get her to do what the United States wants. Now, you heard Carolyn Levitt in the briefing today. She would not give any sort of a timeline on elections or a shift to democracy in Venezuela. So it's really unclear what this looks like in terms of steps. All we really know right now is this step, or phase one, which is this kind of stability period where you see President Trump, the United States, trying to rebuild the oil infrastructure and continue to use basically the same regime. Maduro is gone, but Rodriguez is essentially a part of Maduro. She was part of his inner circle. She was his vice president, but to put an enormous amount of pressure on, and Rodriguez seems to be playing ball with the White House in a way that Maduro was not willing to. So right now, it does seem as though they are happy with the status quo.
It's quite a change, given most of the government remains from the Maduro regime. Kristen Holmes, thanks so much. Richard Haass is President Emeritus of the Council on Foreign Relations. He's also the author of the Substack news.
Yeah, so, yeah. In any case, I don't know what's going to go on with that. It seems like basically they got to have elections again. But I just hope they work it out peacefully, and I'm totally not for Trump being involved. He's stealing their money right now. I mean, Trump, this guy literally had money from these oil tankers be shipped to a private bank account outside of the U.S. in another country. Like, how do y'all feel about that? Is it okay for Trump to send the money from the oil to another country? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that's okay. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that's corruption. You know, yeah, that's what they say in Qatar, man. I mean, I myself, I think it's wrong because it's not our money, you know, and it's not our oil. And, you know, why don't we, you know, it's one thing to have sanctions on a country when there is a bad actor that's the leader, you know, but now that this stuff has happened and Trump has gone down in there and taken Maduro out. So not that I agree with what he did or how he did it, but now that that's happened, why don't you have a plan for, why wasn't there something established? I mean, this woman was outside of the country. Why couldn't they plan this with other people included so that there would be a plan? You know what I mean? Right now, it doesn't sound like the opposition, there was any plan to include the opposition. That's so crazy. That's so crazy, And now they just sitting there trying to figure it out, trying to in front of the world when they know that Trump could flip out one day to the next and bomb some more people if he doesn't, if something happens he doesn't like. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. But but in any case, speaking of Denmark, I'm in Denmark, American living in Denmark, and in Denmark, everybody has universal health care. Everybody has universal education. And education means you get a stipend to go and study. And that means higher education, technical school, university, whatever you're in, trade school, whatever the education is, you get a stipend usually to do it, right? And that usually pays your rent and your expenses, right? And you could take another loan if you want on top of that you would have to pay back. But usually most people don't do that unless it's certain educations where they know the job is going to pay well enough, or But when people come into Denmark, it doesn't matter who the person is. You don't have to be a citizen to get emergency care. All emergency care is you get it no matter what. As soon as you step 1 foot inside of Denmark, that's the law. It doesn't matter who it is. And once your emergency care is taken care of, then you have to take care of the rest, do the rest on your own, right? If there's long-term care or something like that, right? So in any case, Trump has his eyes on Greenland, right? And because of that, it looks like, he's had horrible things to say about Denmark. Denmark's been one of the U.S.'s closest allies, and it's one of the original signers to NATO. You're one of the first countries to sign onto NATO. And, Denmark has lost more soldiers in Afghanistan than any other country, right? So they gave their blood. That was the U.S. Invoking Article 5. That is asking for help from other NATO nations, right? So Denmark was one of the countries, and it's not the only time, right? So Denmark, the U.S. has a base in Denmark. I don't know if a lot of people know that. There's a base where there is. And all of this stuff that Trump is doing is putting that up in the air. You see what I mean? And so over Greenland. Now, people should be concerned about it because, number one, it looks like it's a move to break up NATO. Now, let me just ask you a question straight up. Who is this? Yo, all right, listen. Somebody in here. Here we go. Boom. We got children in here that don't want to talk about actual politics. Now, check this out. Also, user, what is this, man? Come on. Some people just like in here spamming. Now, this is the thing. If you in the chat, I'm going to ask this question. Do you want NATO to break up, or do you want the U.S. to leave NATO? If you want NATO to break up or you want the U.S. to leave NATO, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't, if you want NATO to stay together and for U.S. to be a cooperator with all equal nations cooperating, put a 2 in the chat. So it's 1 or 2. It's easier to answer that way, right? So if you want it to break up, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't, put a 2 in the chat. Yeah. So let's just get an idea. So that way we have some qualifiers in there to other statements that people make, because then you can get a general idea of what's going on in this chat. Like, for example, let me see here. Who could be used as an example? Actually, everybody can. Yeah, Americans get free emergency in the UK. I think in all the EU you get free emergency care, to be honest. In the US, they have this debate because they're scared that illegals are getting health care. That's what they call emergency care health care. So, and speaking of that, now they're starting to ask American citizens for ID when they're in an emergency. And the whole idea is that what if you don't have your ID in an emergency? What if someone robs your purse and shoots you? Then what? You don't have ID? So, they haven't thought about that. But in any case, yeah, it's true. You didn't hear about that? You didn't hear about people being refused with no ID. It's true. In the U.S. now, they're getting refused from emergency care with no ID. In some states, it's happening, you know. So remember, MAGA Mike Johnson talked about that. You remember that? That's what they were talking about. That's so sad, but they kept saying illegals are getting emergency care. They kept saying it, and Dems kept saying, no, that's not true. They kept saying if you try to check for ID in emergency care, it will harm people because all people won't have that ID. You know what I mean? And we just showed a dude cursing out the medical staff in the emergency room, saying that they refused to take his wife because she didn't have her ID on him. So he went all the way to the home to get her ID, to drive all the way back to the hospital, and in all that time, they did not help his wife. And he was angry because he was asking them, how is she doing? He was worried about her, asking, did they accept her? Did they get the ID? And they wouldn't even tell him. So, you know, and, you know, that's terrible. That's terrible, you know. But it's already happening in the U.S. And more things like that are going to happen because some people in the U.S. aren't concerned, are not adults, you know. Basically, some people are not adults and they're not really thinking right now. They're angry about another ethnicity. So, but in any case, in Denmark, everybody has health care. Everybody has emergency care. And the prices of medicine is pretty low, very, very low. And yeah, so here we go. This is the Danish defense minister, Lars Løkke. And he was the prime minister twice, but now he's the defense minister. So this is the guy that went to talk to J.D. Vance and Mark Rubio. And this is his response to Trump.
Friends and all others who are listening. Much is being said these days. Many accusations and many allegations have been made. And of course, we are open to criticism. But let me be completely honest. We do not appreciate the tone in which it's being delivered. We respect that the United States needs a greater military presence in Greenland, as Vice President Vance mentioned this evening. We, Denmark and Greenland, are very much open to discussing this with you, with an open mind. Today, NATO's security guarantee also covers Greenland. But we very much welcome if NATO and allies would play a greater role in the Arctic. We will shoulder our share of the responsibility. No one should doubt that. I am pleased that the Vice President today emphasized the right of the Greenlandic people to determine their own future.
Okay.
This is important.
Okay. So he's saying J.D. Vance acknowledged that the Greenlandic people have the right to decide their own fate. That's not something Trump is acknowledging publicly. That's crazy, right? That's crazy.
I'm pleased that the Vice President today emphasized the right of the Greenlandic people to determine their own future. This is important. Just a few hours ago, a new Greenlandic government took office with strong support from the population and a strong desire to develop the Greenlandic society in close collaboration with Denmark and with the Danish government. We look forward to embarking on this work.
So that was interesting. Now, he was also featured on Fox News, right, where they got a little more. He got a little more descriptive. But from this, it says he's saying that J.D. Vance agreed the Greenlandic people should have the right to determine their own fate, essentially, and that's important because Trump has never said that, and we don't even know if Trump agrees because who knows what the hell's going on once J.D. Vance, once they leave the public eye, we don't even know if he really talks to Trump. We don't even know if this is real. Nobody even knows. They could be, listen, Trump and J.D. Vance, they could be bluffing. They could be doing all of this just to distract people from the Epstein files. Like, they could literally be doing this. They don't have any type of morals. The morals are negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have morals, but they're bad morals, and yeah, so they may not even care anything about this. It could all just be one big joke to them, but it's not a joke to nobody else. And as a matter of fact, they sent special forces. I think 6 different EU nations sent special forces to Greenland yesterday, to beef up the security that Trump and JD Vance claims they want to see. I don't know what's going on, but don't ever forget Canada is right next to Greenland, and they have a lot of military. You know what I'm saying? So they're also concerned about security, and they don't seem to be that concerned. But in any case, they're also concerned about the Russians. Look, let's just pull up a map here, just to give people a little bit of background, and then we can hear what he said on Fox News, because it's very revealing. It's very revealing. Now hold on. Let me take my camera off. Let me see here. Where am I at here? Boom. Right. So here we go. Damn, where's the camera? Right there. Okay. So here we go. Everybody can see this, right? Now, if you look up to the left, can you see that? This area here? Let me make that a little bigger. Is it getting bigger? Here we go. All right. Now it's working out now. Sorry, my net must be getting a little slow. So here we go. Come on now. Now we make this a little larger, right? And we go down to here. Now you see this area. All this to the left. You see the Baffin Bay, right? Right there in the middle of the screen, the Baffin Bay. To the right is Greenland. To the left is Canada. You see right at the top here, northeastern corner. Can y'all see that? Let me pull this down again. Northeastern corner right here at the top, right? That's Canadian base, right? You come over here. There's another base right in this waterway, right in the center. Now let me zoom in. Oh, as a matter of fact, maybe I should just say, military bases, right? Oh, it didn't come up, but there is another one. There's another large area base right here in this area. I don't know if it's on this island or if it's in one of these islands. Is it this? Okay. Now you can see this waterway from the Baffin Bay, right? If you look to the left, there's one waterway that goes all the way over to the Pacific. You see that? You see the one waterway that goes all the way over to the Pacific, goes straight over into the Baffin Bay? You see that, right? Maybe I should pull it down closer to the middle, but I think y'all can see that, right? So they have a base there also, the Canadians, right? They have a base there. They have another base that's towards the south of Greenland on the same Baffin Bay down here, right? So, across where it says Greenland, see where my pointer is right now? Right across from there on the Canadian side is another base. Right in the center of Greenland, of the Baffin Bay, the biggest part of the Baffin Bay. If you go to the left, there's a waterway that goes all the way over to the Pacific. That they have a base right there where they monitor activities in this waterway. And this is where the concerns are, because when it gets cold, maybe there would be ice there, maybe not. But this waterway is open. So they already patrol this. You see what I mean? And it would be in Canada's best interest, since they're Greenland's closest neighbor outside of Iceland, right? The U.S. is not that close to Greenland, right? Canada's closer. It would be, they would have more knowledge, the Canadians, about what is going on there. You see what I mean? Because in all reality, the U.S. has a military base there also, right? Except they have very few people on it. They have very few people on it. So, Canadians there's more Canadians there in effect, and more other troops there than American troops. So it's just kind of weird how for some reason, Trump just wants to keep this conversation going on and on and on and on. And nothing else to it. He's going to keep the lies pumping. But here's the next clip that shows the foreign minister kind of breaking this scenario down on Fox News.
We need Greenland for national security, so we're going to see what happens. If we don't go in, Russia's going to go in and China's going to go in. and there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it, but we can do everything about it.
The president has made his view clear, and we have a different position. We therefore still have a fundamental disagreement, but we also agree to disagree. And therefore we will, however, continue to talk.
President Trump and the Danish foreign minister on the U.S. effort to take over Greenland. The Danish foreign minister, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, joins me here live in studio. Mr. Foreign Minister, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me, Brett. Good to see you again.
I know it was an interesting day today. I want to get first, before we get into specifics, your take on that meeting with Vice President Vance and Secretary Rubio.
My take is that it was a brilliant opportunity for us to share our view with our American friends. I mean, we are close allies. We have had diplomatic relations. You will not find an ally to U.S. who have had uninterrupted diplomatic relationships as long as we have, for 225 years in a row.
No,
and to some extent, not to some extent.
Yo, look at this. NATO protects Denmark, and the Americans have since 1940. You know, listen, Patrick, a lot has taken place since 1940. You know, and I don't think you should leave out Allied forces in 1940, right? Because that's also a very real part of the history, right? But Americans did. Danes know all about their history with the U.S., which is why they've been good allies. But speaking to them rudely is not how you show them that you know the history. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying, Patrick? Like, speaking to your ally rudely doesn't show them that you even know the history. And I doubt Trump knows this history that Lars Løkke is about to explain. To be honest, a lot of MAGA people don't really know the history. They know a few anecdotal points that they bring up, but the history is pretty deep. Now, NATO does have bases here, but Denmark is a part of NATO. And like I was saying earlier, Danish soldiers, the only country to since 9/11 to invoke. There's only been one country since World War II to invoke Article 5, I believe, and that's 9/11. That was the U.S. And that means when you invoke Article 5, that means the other NATO nations come to your aid. Right, Patrick? You with me? So that was the U.S. who invoked Article 5, and that was other NATO nations that came to their aid. And Denmark was one of the first nations to say, yes, we will come to your aid, and we will join you in this fight against terror, and we will send our sons and daughters to war together with yours. And in that, in Afghanistan, Danes lost more lives than anyone else percentage-wise, per population. You see what I'm saying? So that's something that, you know, you would, the way Trump talks, it's almost like he doesn't even know it exists. He may not know that. So he doesn't understand, you know, diplomacy, because if he doesn't know that history, and he doesn't because you never heard him say it, you know, evidence that he knows it would be him saying it, because that's what you would say. Now, a lot of other people, when they talk to Lars Løkke and they talk about Denmark, they do mention that, but Trump has never mentioned it. So he probably doesn't even know, like he doesn't know a lot of other things, you know?
We share, you know, the challenges linked to the situation in the Arctic. We didn't agree that it can only be achieved if U.S. conquer, Greenland. So it was a great opportunity to...
Hey, shit, a lot of people are businessmen. That's no excuse. Once you step into the political life, you need to learn how to be a diplomat. You need to educate yourself to the world. You need to educate yourself, because that's exactly how are you going to be a president or a diplomat and you don't know jack shit about anybody, especially your own allies. Like, what good is that, man? Just stay at home. Let somebody else do it.
Take this, I wouldn't call it a dialogue, these discussions, which have been in social media and the press for 13 months, into a
kind of a formal environment. Get to
into
the
a
next
more
step.
formal environment where we could make our points.
But let's just quickly, for the people who don't fully understand
yes.
what this conversation is about, as we put up the map of Greenland.
Listen, Lars Luca, he's a real cool guy, actually, down to earth. He's this guy, I think just like a year ago, this dude was all on the, he's out there in public taking the metro to the Parliament building with everybody else, taking the metro. You see what I mean? So keep that in mind. This guy's he's been the prime minister twice. When was the last time you seen Trump on public transport? It's just something worth noting so you could see maybe the difference in the style and the type of individual.
Denmark and Greenland, your relationship, you spend money there. The people there get funds from Denmark every year. Explain it to folks, what Denmark's relationship to Greenland.
I mean, we are the Kingdom of Denmark. We consist of Denmark, the Faroe Islands, and Greenland. And we have a long-lasting relationship for hundreds of years. 17,000 Greenlandic people are living in Denmark. It's 1/3 of the total population in Greenland. More than 1 out of 10 people in Greenland are Danes. So we are totally integrated. We share a history. And last night, the premier in Greenland made it crystal clear that even though, in a very long-term perspective, and I think that goes for all people across the world, they want some kind of independence. Right now, and for foreseeable future, they want to be a part of the Kingdom of Denmark.
So here's the president's, the Truth Social he put out, NATO, tell Denmark to get them out of here. He's talking about China and Russia. Now, 2 dog sleds won't do it. Only the USA can. Danish intel warned last year that Russian and Chinese military goals toward Greenland and the Arctic. Then the White House put out this picture that kind of depicted that, these 2 dog sleds choosing between either Russia, China, or the USA. There is a concern about Russia and China in that area, right?
Yeah, and we share that concern. I mean, but we also need to have a facts-based dialogue, and due to at least Danish intelligence.
Did you hear what this dude? He said we need to have a facts-based dialogue, and that's what the American people are owed. To be honest, right? I mean, let me know that. Do you think that's what you're owed as an American citizen? Put a 1 in the chat if you're American. If you think the American people are owed a facts-based dialogue, put a 1 in the chat if you think American people are owed that. Put a 2 in the chat if you think they aren't. I'm just curious about what you think.
And I don't think your intelligence have a different view on that. We haven't seen a Chinese warship in Greenland for a decade or so. There's absolutely no Chinese investments in Greenland. When I served as Prime Minister, I served Prime Minister twice. We avoided any kind of Chinese investments in infrastructure. 10 years ago, the Road and Belt Initiative, what you have seen in Africa, we avoided all that. We now build new international airports in Greenland. They are funded by Danish money. We had an abandoned American military installation years ago. There was a global tender. I personally intervened in this in order to avoid, any Chinese footprint. So there's absolutely no Chinese footprint in Greenland.
But they aspire.
Having said that,
we can say they aspire. Russia and China aspire.
And having said that, I fully share, I know your president very well. I have met him on several occasions. I was among the first European leaders to meet him in his first term. And there's always, a bit of truth in what he's saying. And we definitely share the concern that Arctic is not any longer a low-tension region. And of course, we have to be aware of that. And that's why we have invested almost $15 billion last year in capabilities in Greenland.
And that's part of the pitch you made today. The fear, do you believe that the U.S. is going to take over Greenland?
This guy is very clever, Lars Luca, because he knows all the right-wing people swear to God on anything they see on Fox News. And this is the most facts-based commentary that you've heard on Fox News about this entire debacle. You see what I mean? And I got to give Lars Luca credit because he went straight to them and was like, yeah, no problem. I'm going to talk to these people because they need a facts-based dialogue. They haven't heard the truth, And I give it to him. I mean, Yeah, he's way more. This guy is as far as if you want to compare him to Trump, you know, I wish we had Lars Løkke as a president any day of the week, because you know, it's like he would do. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of Danish politicians would do Americans very, very well. Very, very well. You would have health care right now. You would have universal education right now. That's what would happen. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, that's part of Danish values, to be honest with you. And it's not just Lars Løkke. You know what I mean? You would have more parties, probably more parties, more political parties that have to do more sharing, you know, have to do more cooperating. You see what I mean? Instead of hoarding everything. You see what I mean? You wouldn't even be able to form a government without having to cooperate with another party or 2 or 3 more parties, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so they kind of, they actually have a functioning democracy. It's us in the U.S. that don't have a functioning democracy. We got a president that's talking about canceling elections. There's a lot of contrast there, you know? And I'm going to tell you, MAGA people, you should shut the fuck up and listen to this guy, because this guy is spitting more facts, right? And he even respects you, like, enough to even go on your program. But you haven't heard an honest person on this. This is the last time you want to hear an honest person on Fox News again. The rest of this year. This is the only one. You're not going to see another person anywhere near as honest get in Fox News. This is the most honest shit I've heard. What's up?
Do you?
15 billion US dollars last year in capabilities in.
You how come no one told you that Denmark spent $13 billion on military capabilities in Greenland last year alone? You see what I'm saying? Just alone. How come Trump didn't say it? How come J.D. Vance didn't say it? They didn't say it one time. This dude had to go all the way to Fox News.
In Greenland.
And that's part of the pitch you made today. The fear,
It's not even a pitch. It's just a fact.
Do you believe that the U.S. is going to take over Greenland? Either by buying it, in other words, incentivizing each of the Greenlandian population, which is a population of about 57,000. If they get more money than you're giving them every year, to then have an independence vote, to be independent of you, could it be possible that the U.S. is going to try to do that?
It's probably possible that U.S. could try to do it. It's not possible that Greenland will buy into all this. I mean...
Listen. This is the funny part about it. Greenlanders are more intelligent than Trump voters. Like, seriously, they know how to do math. They figured the math out easily. You think they don't know? You think they don't know what they have? It should be the MAGA people should want what they have. But the MAGA people don't want it. The MAGA people are too stupid to vote for universal health care. They have that in Greenland. The MAGA people are too stupid to vote for universal education. But they have that in Greenland. The MAGA people are too stupid to vote for 5 weeks vacation every year. Everybody. They don't want, the MAGA people don't want child care. The MAGA people don't want a year paternity leave, maternity leave when you have a child for each family. They don't want that. You see what I'm saying? But the Greenlanders have that. Every Dane has that. The MAGA people, what are you talking about? These Greenlanders can buy you. The Greenlanders can buy you. Yeah. They don't need you. There's nothing you can do for them. There's nothing you want to do for them. You literally do less for yourself and your own Americans. You do less. So why would you do more for why would you, what is this? That's the crazy thing. MAGA lifestyle down here. Greenlander life's up there. One people come from a culture, a state, a kingdom where they treat their citizens like this. That's Denmark. The U.S. treats their citizens down here, and that's a norm for MAGA. And MAGA will fucking argue with you every day of the week about it. I don't want none of my tax dollars going to your health care. They haven't figured out collective bargaining. Make sure everybody has the same thing, has this excellent health care for less. They haven't figured it out. You know what I'm saying? They haven't figured it out, you know? And, you know, to be honest with you, Danes, this is the interesting part, and others. I've been studying this, you know, for a while, the difference between American pride, because I'm an American, so I know what American pride is like. It's a specific kind of pride. European pride is not the exact same kind of pride, y'all. I got to tell you that. It's not. And it's not cap. Danish pride is particular, but it's European pride is different too than American pride. Canadian pride is different than American pride. You know what I'm saying? But I got to tell you this, Danish pride, Greenlander pride, you know, they will definitely fight you, and they're not going to fight you just because they have more weapons than you. That won't be why they pick a fight. That won't be why they go to a fight. No, they will actually do it over their fucking pride. You know, like, period. Like, if this is what you want, this is what you get. If that's what you want to do, if it makes sense to you, if you think you could do it all by yourself, if that's what you want, if you think you're strong because you treat your allies like shit, go down that path. But they won't say it like that, though. But they'll be thinking that.
According to the latest poll in Greenland, only 6% of the Greenland...
And Lars is telling you the facts. And there's nothing the guy on MAGA TV could say about it. You know, he didn't even have anybody else there spitting the facts to him. He could have brought all these facts to anybody in MAGA, Fox TV the whole time. The journalist could have done that. It's public information. But that's not what he wanted to do.
About 57,000. If they get more money than you're giving them every year to then have an independence vote, to be independent of you, could it be possible that the U.S. is going to try to do that?
It's probably possible that U.S. could try to do it. It's not possible that Greenland will buy into all this. I mean...
So, it's not possible that Greenland will buy into all of this. I mean, there it is. There it is. You see what I mean? And he's saying it, you know, it's almost like he's begging. What if we give them more money than you give them? It's not just about money. It's not just about money. Look, Americans have a lot of money. How they spend it is wasteful. You know, for example, I mean, how much does this ship cost to be outside of Venezuela every day? Those ships are still there. Who's paying for it? Taxpayer. You know, who sent money to Argentina, $40 billion? American citizens sent $40 billion there. How much does it cost ICE to be on the street roaming around all fucking day and night, just indiscriminately? We don't know where they at. Oh, where you from? Across the street. You know, this is a wasteful thing. Americans pay like 3 to 4 times more for health care than anybody else. You see what I mean? You pay 3 to 4 times more, not for better health care, for the same health care, but you pay for corporations to provide it to you. Corporations control the whole industry of healthcare. They control all of it. So the administration fees are high. Administration fees are not chemotherapy. Administration fees are not an operation to remove your, you know, a heart transplant or to remove your kidneys or something. That's not administration fees. The administration fees that you pay are basically, you know, they cost as much as the damn operation would cost. Just the administration fee. Just the administration fee. That's what you pay in the U.S. And you can't even, and so you pay 3 to 4 times more and you can't even get it to as many people. It's stupid. It's wasteful. It's stupid. It's corruption. You see what I mean? So the Greenlanders don't want nothing from y'all motherfucking asses. And I'm an American too, but I'm just making it be plain. I know Greenlanders don't want nothing from you because they know you're wasteful, and they know whatever they take from you will backfire. It will come out worse. They know that for a fact. Then, how do you treat your own Native Americans? Greenlanders speak their own language. Do you know that? Greenlanders speak their own language. They're natives. They speak their... If you're a Danish person that grew up in Greenland, you learned the native language in school. You speak the native language in school. What about the native language in the United States of America? What schools are teaching one goddamn Native American language in the United States of America? How do you treat your fucking natives? Greenlanders aren't stupid. They know you treat your natives like shit. They know you treat your natives like shit. In the United States of America, native people are treated like fucking dirt. Anyway, Lars Luca is an excellent diplomat. Respect to Lars.
To the latest poll in Greenland, only 6% of the Greenlandic population wants to become Americans.
Well, you know, I had the Greenland Prime Minister on a year ago. Now he's no longer in office, but he was Greenland Prime Minister at the time. This is what he said about that.
Could you foresee a deal with the U.S.?
We don't want to be Danes. We don't even want to be Americans.
Boom. There it is right there.
We want to be Greenlanders, but we know that we have a lot of to cooperate together with, especially with the defense and security. But the last years, we also have a strong partnership between our countries. So I believe we have a lot to cooperate with, especially with the defense and security. But the last years, we also have a strong partnership between our countries. So I believe we have a lot to cooperate with.
So I'm just doing.
So cooperation, what is that? So I guess MAGA people think the word cooperation means own. That's not what it means. Listen, cooperation, if it means own to you, then you speak in the language of a rapist, basically. You see what I mean? Like that's not how it works. Cooperation is they own themselves. They have the control over their, over their diplomacy, over their government. It is self-governed, by the way. And you follow the law if you want to work with them. That's what you do. You have to negotiate terms with them because you're your own entity and they are too, but that's not what Trump is talking about. And I mean, let's be honest. Trump thinks you can buy human beings in 2025. He thinks he can buy an island. The U.S. Virgin Islands is also another island. Denmark sold the U.S. Virgin Islands today. It used to be called the Danish West Indies. They sold it to the United States for something like, I don't know, $13 million or $30 million. I'm not sure how much it was. It was some time ago, obviously, because you can't do this today. That's how it became the U.S. West Indies or the U.S. Virgin Islands, right? Till this day, none of those people have a right to vote, to have a senator that has a vote or a congressional member that has a vote in the House or in the Senate. To this day, they get taxed and they don't even have that voting right. Greenlanders have that voting right. You see what I'm saying? Why would they want to trade that? Why would they want to trade it? You see what I mean? And as a matter of fact, let me just, before I let Lars finish out, let me just review that real quick. The U.S. Virgin Islands, they're citizens of the United States of America, but they don't have a vote. So let's just hear that out real quick. And when that happened, it was 25 million, and it was in 1917. You see, and that would be worth 600 million today. So today that would be worth about half a billion dollars, right, or more. But let's hear that out.
The United States acquired what is now the U.S. Virgin Islands from Denmark through a formal purchase in 1917. The deal, known as the Treaty of the Danish West Indies, saw the U.S. pay Denmark $25 million in gold, roughly $600 million today. for the islands of St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. The transfer ended over 250 years of Danish colonial rule and was driven by both economic necessity in Denmark and military strategy in the USA 50-year negotiation. The 1917 sale was not a sudden decision. It was the result of decades of failed attempts and shifting geopolitics. 1867, following the American Civil War, Secretary of State William Seward negotiated a deal for $7.5 million. However, the U.S. Senate rejected it due to a political feud with President Andrew Johnson and a series of natural disasters, a hurricane and tsunami, that hit the islands. 1902, another treaty was signed for $5 million, but this time the Danish parliament rejected it, partly due to opposition from those who felt the price was too low. 1917, with World War I raging, the U.S. became desperate to secure the islands before Germany could occupy Denmark and use the islands as a submarine base to attack the Panama Canal. Why did both sides want the deal? For the United States, national security. The U.S. viewed the islands as a Gibraltar of the Caribbean. Naval strategy. St. Thomas had one of the best deep-water harbors in the region, ideal for a coaling and repair station. The German threat. The U.S. feared that if Germany conquered Denmark, they would inherit the islands. Secretary of State Robert Lansing even hinted to Denmark that the U.S. might occupy the...
All right, so that's a brief history of it, right? Now, this is about the voting rights for the U.S. Virgin Islands. This is in context to Trump wanting Greenland. And what I'm saying is that why would you want to buy them when you haven't even given the people on the last island that you bought even voting rights, really? Listen to this.
While residents of the U.S. Virgin Islands, USVI, are U.S. citizens, their voting rights are significantly more limited than those of citizens living in the 50 states. Because the USVI is an unincorporated territory, rather than a state, its residents do not have full representation in the federal government. Here is the breakdown. 1. Can they vote for president? No. Residents of the U.S. Virgin Islands cannot vote in the general election for president and vice president. The reason: the U.S. Constitution specifies that the president is elected by the Electoral College, and only states, and Washington, D.C., are granted electors. Since the USVI is not a state, it has 0 electoral votes. The exception: they do participate in the primary process. Both the Democratic and Republican parties allow the USVI to send delegates to their national conventions to help choose the party's nominee. Moving matters: if a USVI resident moves to a state, like Florida or New York, they gain the right to vote for president immediately. Conversely, if a resident of a state moves to the USVI, they lose their right to vote for president. 2. Do they have representation in Congress? Yes, but it is limited. The USVI elects 1 delegate to the U.S. House of Representatives, currently Stacey Plaskett. The power: the delegate can introduce legislation, speak on the House floor, and vote in congressional committees. The limitation: the delegate cannot vote on the final passage of bills on the House floor. The Senate: the USVI has no representation in the U.S. Senate, unlike states, which each have 2 senators. 3. Local self-government: while federal representation is limited, residents have full voting rights for their local government. They elect their own governor and lieutenant governor. They elect the legislature of...
So you see, why would you want to buy Denmark when you ain't even straighten out the people that you bought the last time? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, these people, 1917, and today they still have no voting rights. You see what I'm saying? Like, so what is it, now MAGA people, MAGA folks, let me just ask you if there's MAGA folks in the chat. And also, those of you that's listening, click the like button, click the subscribe button if you don't mind for me. It helps more people come across the stream now and later, right, when you do that. But listen, MAGA people, I want to know. I'm about to be out in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But listen, MAGA folk, let me know this. Do you want the U.S. Virgin Island people to have a vote in the Senate, in the Congress, and be able to vote for the president, the same voting rights as every other American state? I actually confuse them with the same rights that we have in D.C., but they even have less rights. It's like, We don't have a voting right, though, on the Congress or the Senate floor. We have a speaking right only. But let's just talk about the U.S. Virgin Islands right now, because that's in context to Denmark. That Denmark sold the Danish West Indies to the United States in 1970 for something like $12 or $25 million. Since 1917, the inhabitants of St. Thomas and the island, U.S. Virgin Islands, they haven't had voting rights, but they pay taxes, though. So USVI voted for Trump in the primary. You sure about that? How sure? Who told you that? But in any case, do you want them to have the right? Put a 1 in the chat if you want them to have that right. And say Trump next to it, so I know you're a Trump supporter. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. Put a 2 in the chat if you do want them to have that, and you can let me know your political affiliation also. Yeah, better yet, just anybody. Put a 1 in the chat if you don't want them to have a vote. Put a 2 in the chat if you want them to have a vote. That's kind of backwards, but that's how this one is. Yeah, I believe that too. No taxation without representation, but I want to know what you want as a MAGA voter. Do you want these people that were bought by the U.S. from Denmark to have voting rights? They were bought because the people were bought too. It wasn't just like the land. Yes. Do you want them to have voting rights? Yes is 2. 1 is no. This transaction happened in 1917. And I'm just curious about that. I mean, it does. Somebody said 2. Okay. Yeah. In any case, I'm going to put a 2. Yeah. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want them to have rights, but this is the government we have right now. Republicans control House, Senate, White House, Supreme Court. They could wrap that up just by themselves, giving everybody full rights in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Yeah, and as you said, taxation without representation isn't too cool, right? But here's the thing. If you don't want them to have those rights, then why do you want to buy Greenland? Why would you want them to, what do you want them to do? Sell their freedom to you? Like, why would you want to buy another island of people? What you going to do? Give them rights and then not give the U.S. Virgin Islanders rights? Well, how can you work it out? It don't make sense. There's no way that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? So so what you're saying is that you're actually going to lower the standard of the Greenlanders' rights. You're going to lower that. That's what you're offering. And the reason why you would do it that way is because you can't give them rights that the U.S. Virgin Island people don't have also. That would be totally obviously wouldn't make sense, right? So this is how I know the only way Trump is going about this is by not giving them voting rights. That's how he's going to do it. That's how he's going to do it. If you can do it, and you can't even do it. You see what I mean? Because you can't even buy people today. And again, this is a conversation that doesn't even have anything to do with anything whatsoever that can even be possible. Today, people fight against slavery and buying people. That's a fucking international crime. You can't just do it that way. You see what I mean? So now, if the Greenlanders didn't want to be, that's a different thing. But they want to be exactly how they are right now. And they don't want you to be a part of it, U.S. They don't want nothing changed. They want it exactly the same. And and they said it 3 times. So at what point is it just harassment, But in any case, let's hear.
Especially with the defense and security. But the last years, we also have strong partnership between our countries. So I believe we have a lot to cooperate with.
So I'm just doing the math here. 56,000, they get $500,000 a person. I mean, you don't think they're going to vote to break away?
No, not at all. Because I think there's no way that U.S. will pay for a Scandinavian welfare system in Greenland, honestly speaking. You haven't introduced a Scandinavian welfare system.
Exactly. And why would they? Because the United States doesn't want everyone to have health care. They don't want everyone to have education. They don't want everyone to have a right to a home. Do you understand? Everybody in Greenland has a right. Does everybody in the U.S. have a right to shelter? Does everybody in the U.S. have a right to education, higher education? Does everybody in the U.S. have a right to health care? The answer is no. So what are you doing? What is this all about again? This can only be about one thing: breaking up NATO for Putin, or breaking up NATO to waste people now, or to waste people's time against the Epstein files. It's only those two options. It's either to waste people's time to get them to stop talking about the Epstein files, or it's to break up NATO, or maybe it's both. Who knows?
But you also
But it's not what Trump is saying it is.
don't believe the U.S. is going to invade Greenland, do you?
No, at least I do not hope so, because I mean that will be the end of NATO.
And that was the perfect answer. This is the gold nugget in it right here, because he's letting you know that he can't tell you either way. What are you talking about? Do you think? That's a trick question. Do you think Trump is going to invade it? That's a trick question. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if Trump is going to. So when you don't know, you just prepare, motherfucker. That's what you do. Yeah. And I like exactly how he said it.
I don't
Listen
believe
to this
in
question.
Greenland, honestly. Way that U.S. reduced the Scandinavian welfare system.
But
in
you
your own
also
country.
don't believe the U.S. is going to invade Greenland, do you?
And you also don't believe the U.S. is going to invade Greenland, do you? Why is he asking him that question? You don't believe it? Trump believes it. You say Trump's words every day. Like, those are fighting words. Trump has said this so many times, but why do you believe someone? Why would he trust Trump? Why would he trust anybody? I mean,
no, at least I do not hope so, because
exactly, because he's letting you know that there's also a chance that he would. That's what everyone thinks. There's a chance that he would, because he's crazy enough to do it. And that's exactly how MAGA people like their presidents. Crazy. They like their presidents to break international law, break national law, and go into war stupidly and do mysterious stuff for Putin. That's how MAGA likes their presidents. That's why MAGA exists, because they kiss up to Putin. Trump has been all down with Putin. Yep. And he's powerless to Putin. Trump is powerless to Putin. That's the one individual he is powerless to for some strange reason. I mean, look, if it was me in his situation, what I suspect is they have pictures of him with little girls. That's what I suspect, because he had those fashion or Miss Universe pageants, those pageants in Russia, right? And so I suspect that's what they got on him. But again, that's why I love that Erykah Badu song. Bag lady, you gonna break your back, dragging all those bags like that. It's the same thing for Bagman. Trump is like the Bagman. Trump, you're gonna break your back. That's exactly what it does to you. Slowly get a hunch back. You know, he's the manifestation of dragging bags, because plenty of people, somebody's got those secrets on him, and everybody knows it. Isn't it easier to just say, fuck it, man? Fuck it. Why do I have to have somebody holding this over my head for the rest of my life? But Trump ain't that dude. Trump is the bag man. He gonna carry it on his back, and it's going to be used, because he'd rather carry it than to just say, fuck it, man, this is senseless. This is what we got.
I mean, that will be the end of
Ain't gonna see no files. This motherfucker does not want you to, excuse my language, he doesn't want you to see the damn files. Okay, he's in the files, obviously. I mean, at this point, there ain't nobody else more in the files than him. I mean, because what would keep a person, bag lady, them Epstein files, file lady, he carrying the files on his back and shit. The whole administration is carrying the files on their back, yo. It's called the Epstein bag. And Lars Luca knows that shit too. And I like the way he said, there's no way you're going to have the Danish welfare system. Look at that face. because he knows how corrupt these motherfuckers are in the U.S. That's why he has that look on his face. He knows they are totally fucking corrupt. They will never have universal health care in the U.S. That's a laughing joke. He knows it. And that's exactly what he said. Look at this shit. There's no way.
Not at all. Because I think there's no way that U.S. will pay for a Scandinavian welfare system in Greenland, honestly speaking.
Yeah, ha, ha, ha. That's right. And they won't, because they too corrupt. They don't even want their own people to have it. You see what I mean? And it's not like it's a special thing. Pretty much every other Western country has that. It's only the United States that doesn't have it.
You haven't introduced a Scandinavian welfare system.
But you also don't believe the U.S. is going to invade Greenland, do you?
No, at least I do not hope so, because I mean that will be the end of NATO. But
there's been something like from special forces from 12 different countries that arrived yesterday in Greenland. You know, Europe is taking it pretty serious, and you know, whatever it is that from my perspective, what I gather is whatever it is that Trump is up to, they don't know. It could be an attack on Greenland, or it could not. He could, you know, they expecting anything. They don't know, because Trump doesn't give clear signals. He doesn't do things normally. He tweets, but he doesn't handle business himself that close up. You know what I mean? He does it kind of like a Don. He gets somebody else to go out there, have some meetings, do everything, and then he tweets some shit that's just totally outrageous. But he himself, he's happy with it being like this. He wants to attack, but he don't want to have a meeting. He wants more security, but he don't want to have a meeting. Not himself. I mean, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's obviously not about the security for Trump. It's about something else.
I want to have a more positive approach to all this. And I think it's...
Yeah, you're right, Taylor. They take it serious as fuck. They taking it serious. I mean, listen, but they can take it serious too, because the EU has 450 million people. The U.S. has 350 million. So combined, the EU is very, very strong. It's not like something they can't handle. You know, they can handle Russia and this Greenland shit, you know. But the problem is that this is NATO up for this? Like, is this what the American people think NATO should be doing? Do you think that NATO should be spreading out, you know, its resources? Do you think NATO members should be fighting each other? Do you think Trump as a NATO member, the U.S. as a NATO member, should be threatening another NATO country? Like, do you think that's what he should be doing? And of course, he's saying that, you know, he won't say that he's threatening them. He's just going to say it's an idea. Don't you understand? We need it for security. But the truth is that the Greenlandic people feel threatened by his words and the way he went about it, by both things, right? And on top of it, Trump has pretty much doesn't understand international law. He'll never be able to buy Greenland. Secondly, you already have all the access you need to it, because that's already one of the treaties. Thirdly, the U.S. has actually, they haven't actually requested to put troops there in how many years? Like 20 years? They haven't requested. So the U.S. has not really shown interest in any security thing. They already have a base there, and they have the right to put as many people as they want. You notice they didn't ask Denmark when J.D. Vance went there with the military. They just showed up because they do have access. So it's kind of like playing, it's a game, you know? It's just, it seems like Trump's doing it like a game, like it's not really about security, because notice the allies took it like it was serious. So they acted by sending military there from all their countries. Trump, he said it was a security concern, but he didn't act like it was a security concern. So, yeah.
Important for me to say that we share the concerns. I mean, that's why we are investing heavily. You know, we haven't received any military request from U.S. About stepping up in Greenland for the last 20 years, you know. And we have this framework from 51. We have a defense agreement. We all belong to NATO. And we think that our way forward should be that we, you know, combine forces. So we share the concerns to some extent, but not the methods, if I could put it that way.
So on the
And that's
military
why-
side,
yeah.
on the military side, on the critical raw materials side, you're willing to open to U.S. companies. I understand. So you're saying you're starting this formal conversation, and you hope it lands in something that you can negotiate.
Yeah, that's the outcome of today's meeting. I mean, it's not that I have a position that now the problem is solved. It stands crystal clear for me that the ambition, the president's ambition is on the table. Of course, we have our red lights. I mean, this is 2026. You trade with people, but you don't trade people. And there's a third way forward. And that's what we agreed today, that we will now set up this high-level working group to explore whether there's a way forward where we can accommodate, which I totally agree, the president's concern, and still respect, of course, the territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark and the Greenlandic people's right to self-determination.
Mr. Foreign Minister, we really appreciate you coming in here, and we look forward to following up when you get to that next step.
Thank you.
Now let's see. Trump had some words also. Let's see here. I mean, yeah. Anyway, listen, y'all. I'm gonna be out now. I'll be back in approximately something like 8 hours from now. I got 2 podcasts today, a second one coming up soon, and or later this evening. That will be probably early afternoon in the U.S. time, and that will be towards the evening, like 7 o'clock, something like that, 7 p.m. In the Central European time. But I appreciate everybody for coming out. Listen, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. If you on your TV, subscribe and click the like button. Pick up the remote and do it because it helps more people get access to the stream. The next stream is about because I actually plan. I took it a little easy today. I plan on covering more, but the next stream is just about the what's going on in Minnesota, right? So I'm gonna put the link up for that in the next half an hour. So look forward to that later on today. I appreciate everybody coming out. Big up to y'all. I really do appreciate it. I mean, look, this I don't know, something like I don't know when it happened, but I've been getting a good amount of streams. So this year the last 6 months is really picked up, I would say. Yeah, that's about it. The last 6 months is really picked up. So I really want to thank you all that's been a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that a lot, because one thing I want you to know is that really I actually conceived of doing this sometime because I knew the election was coming up. So I actually learned about I had a basic idea, but I actually had to learn from another person and participate in just by learning, by doing with another one called a guy called Shaka. They call him Ma'at Forever. And so I just participated with a little bit of his work dealing with history. And he taught me most of it, not the I'm not talking about the mechanical things, but how you run a podcast, And so I had to learn a lot from him. But I had my own idea about what I wanted to do. And then I started doing it. And then just as the election started coming up, I started participating the closer the election got and started doing my own streaming. But what happened was that when Kamala Harris lost, then it started picking up, because I think and when Trump came in office, that's when it really started picking up, because Trump started doing these outrageous things. And one of the things that he always been doing is talking about Denmark, and so I already had an idea that he's going to go down that same lane again. So listen, I love my country and I love my countrymen. I really had a blessed life in the United States of America. I had wonderful teachers, right? Loving, caring teachers that really cared about nurturing kids' minds. I went to some really good primary schools when I was young, right? I had a pretty good young youth life. So I love those. When I think of my country, I think of those times. I think of the wonderful people from my town that I know are some real good people. You know what I mean? Like, so when I think of America, I think about those experiences, my experiences, and I will always cherish those experiences. And I'm an American thick and through. You see what I mean? No question about it. Anybody that knows me knows that. You see what I mean? However, I've kind of grown in my Americanness. It's gotten more mature. It's more well-rounded because I have the experience of living outside of the U.S. You see what I mean? So I kind of have some perspective that Americans need to hear. You see what I mean? And one of the things I want to tell you is, look, our country is not treating, it doesn't matter what political party you're in. Our country does not fucking treat our citizens right. Like, and that should be a number one priority to get through every American citizen's head. Our country does not treat our people right. We don't treat our elderly right. We don't treat our youth right. And we don't treat the people that have to go to work right. We don't. So that's why I'm doing this. You see what I mean? I just want you to know that, because I'm someone who lives in a society where universal health care is a fact. It is real. It's not an imaginary thing. It's no cheating system to how it happened. It was just a priority that the Danish people thought of themselves. The Danish people thought they were good enough to have this for their people. When are Americans going to get right? When are Americans going to think American people are good enough? You see what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? It's 2026. Like, really? You know? And so I thought about what my purpose was. You see what I mean? Before I decided that I want to learn how to do some podcasting, I thought about the purpose. You see, theoretics, how I wanted to do it theoretically, so I don't have to waste people's times, you know, and that's why you're here. That's why you enjoy it. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the fact that y'all get that. You see what I mean? That you feel me. And we have something special going on, and it's something that we need to have going on for this time we live in, this special time right now that we're in. I'm telling you, it is not by accident that I'm here right now in this time. You see what I mean? And it's not an accident any of us are talking together. We have to fight. We have to do what is necessary to free our citizens, free our country from this negative energy that has infestated it. And once we get free of that, we need to do what is right by our people, like Danish people do what is right for Danes. You see what I mean? Healthcare for everybody, education for everybody, you know, because we pay for it. Instead of giving all our money to these billionaires, they're stealing the money. They're stealing the money. See, the key to having universal healthcare, the key to having universal education is, how about you do something about corruption? Then there's plenty of money to go around. You see what I mean? Try that. How come that's not a crime in the U.S.? You know what I'm saying? We need a goddamn war on corruption. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need a war on corruption. That's exactly what we need. You know, a war on corruption, and then things will be good. I bet you they won't do that one. How about we kick the doors in of every rich person, every billionaire, and just confiscate all their business records and see, where's the corruption? Let's see where the corruption is at. Is there any corruption here? I would really like to know. That would be useful. I mean, can we get somebody that's interested in that for a change? You know, I mean, but first we got to get the Epstein files out. So, but in any case, I appreciate everybody. I will be back. So until then, have a good day and bless everybody, man. I really hope everybody has a good weekend. All right. Happy Friday. It's already the afternoon for my Friday, but I'll catch up with y'all. I'll see y'all tonight. Around the world.
When I'm out walking, sometimes I think about, does love still exist? Yeah, I have my doubts. On the street, I check out how brothers be living. Yo, let's just say, kid, it ain't no Thanksgiving. We got people shooting dope, ain't never heard of hope. We got got others with the gat and the brothers with the fucking scope. As I enter the project center rec rooms, some brothers might see the doom. I see my nigga Paulo, fat pockets of papes. He knows the neighborhood biddies with all the dopest shapes. There goes Rollo with the blowout fro. He's got a gap, hey yo niggas gots to go. No show is live when there ain't fuck Memorex. My nigga Rollo's got a gat at Paulo's chest. One slug blasted out, down boy die. Now show me some love, kid. It sounds like a
Yes, you know the struggle goes on. People try to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Sometimes I think how the world come to this. A place where every man and woman needs a therapist. Mass confusion, people living in delusion. Justify all the bullshit through the Constitution. Meanwhile, the masses struggle to survive. I think we're too busy to hear our people's cries. Singles mothers struggle to raise families. Genocide committed through famine and disease. I wonder if these things will ever cease to exist. I know it could if we cease and desist. Giving all the power to the industrialists. Giving all our power to the damn commercialists. They see us just as being sheep in this world. They want us to do what we're told, like boys and girls. Oh God, I wanna live another day so I can help provide equality
And
this
yes, you know
day.
the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. Though we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Everybody round the globe, open up your earlobe, your third eye, and then decipher the code. Through knowledge, understanding, then bring love into the concept instead of bling bling. Truth instead of bias, educational methods. Twisting, contorting God's message of love for every human being. Listen, motherfucker, don't you hear the screams? It's time to do much more than talk, debate, and spread hate. We need to think and at the same time investigate. Understand what our actions may create. Before continuing the cycle we procreate. We can clone humans, but at the same time we can't feed humans. The future of man is actually looming. It's really depressing, it's true,
And yes, you
man.
know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
They want war. Crime babies looking for food. Starvation, the recipe. People subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every clue. Don't let it go. It's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a